We'll open this meeting of November 12th, 2015. Let the record show that Selectman Scanlon is on his way. I'll make a motion to bring the minutes of October 15th to the floor.
Second.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Sure.
Aye. This is when only 3 of us were here.
Yeah.
However, we set the tax rate.
Yeah.
We went relatively quick, too, as I recall.
What exactly are you trying to say? I wasn't here, we got out early.
We have to draw straws to see which 3 attend.
Oh, the pages aren't numbered, at least mine aren't, so I got to count. 1, 2, 3.
Here, you want my pen?
Next to the last, no,
want
the
my
last
pen?
page, it's
I've
the
got-
last page,
Mine are all
All right,
numbered.
last page.
at the top,
Are you on the right one?
Oh, you got the wrong one, Joe.
Are you on the 22nd or the 15th?
15.
The only one that I possess.
Oh, I guess since you weren't there, you're not privy.
I wouldn't know.
Selectman Fogg asked that the files could be PDF filed electronically, something to look into. The 91A still requires paper copies. That was talked about, and I think that should be added there, that we are required to keep paper copies at this time, till they get their butts in gear.
Well, then, should we be talking to the legislature to get them to amend 91A?
I've already called the Attorney General's office several times about it.
And?
They're
We
working
still
on it.
need copies.
They're working
Yeah, but if you
on
have it electronically,
And I think that's a great idea. Of course, if there's a sunspot or something, we're just
you can save it on more than one device, though. And if you save it to like a Gmail, there, you can access it from anywhere.
I'm actually all about PDF.
I forgot the pancake breakfast. Oh, that was out there.
Catherine, there's a pancake breakfast.
Last week.
And the pancakes were actually
good.
really good.
Well, my
They
grandkids,
were. Well, by the time I get there, I get the old rubbery ones.
my grandkids love pancakes.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the,
Can we make one more change?
yeah, sure.
On the next to last page, Selectman Fogg reported there was, like the 4th paragraph, an incorrect lane. It's the lighting setup at that intersection.
Oh, it's not the lane that's incorrect,
No.
it's the light.
The left turn arrows in the straight lane.
So it's incorrect light
Light setup,
setup.
traffic light setup. Your left arrow's in the straight lane, so when it goes green, that one's red, and the people stay there, and the people behind it get awful. Horns go, fingers come out windows.
As long as they're fingers.
Pretty funny.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of October 15th as corrected.
Second,
All those in favor?
yes.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain simply because I wasn't here.
One abstention. Make a motion, we bring the minutes of October 22nd to the floor for discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Now, this says Selectman Jessamine excused. We didn't excuse him.
No, I just didn't show up. I
This
didn't.
AWOL. I think you should be
I
AWOL.
was doing moose. I was at the moose hunt.
No, just leave it.
Out to lunch.
I
Dinner
did
and
cook lunch.
breakfast.
I did cook lunch, so.
Were there fermented beverages after the cooking?
There were. Is Johnny Van Tassel aware of our lighting the island?
Yes. That's on his duties.
I ran it
This week.
earlier in the week.
Well, I saw that there was discussion and Christmas lights up and whatever, but,
Earlier in the week, I called him just to see if he was aware they had to be done by December 5th.
yep,
And we ran through the island,
yep.
Vest Pocket,
Pocket.
Big Tree, and the
Yeah.
Main
And River.
Street
Yeah.
trees, because
Yay.
the park commissioners will do Riverfront.
Good enough, yep.
They're doing that the 21st.
How much do we charge?
So we're checking lights today.
Has Bob dropped his cache of lights off yet?
Not that I know of. And I
Okay.
talked to Johnny, that I discovered that the park commissioner's multicolored lights seem to be disappeared from the maintenance room. They're
Oh, they went out with the garbage, huh?
not there. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But he said there were plenty at the town garage.
The last
Well,
couple of
last week
years,
we
I've gotten
bought-
the selectmen to approve a budget for decorating the island.
All the
I go
extras on
after
sale, remember last
the
year?
holiday,
Yeah, so
right?
that was a
and
good thing.
Get 3 times the stuff.
How much does Northfield donate?
Nothing.
To that, they have yet to make a donation at this point.
I noticed they helped out at the Veterans Day ceremony, too, out of the 3 cruisers there. All 3 were Tilton.
Well, wait till we get to the budget. They're not going to plow the library, or they're not going to pick up garbage at the library any longer. And last year, they cut their proportion to contribution to the shared resource by $4,000.
$4,000, how did they come up with that number?
The selectmen cut it before
Just
they went to
because-
town meeting.
just because-
They tried to amend it, and it failed, because it was looped in with all the other ones.
Remember
Was
their
that the
crazy
outside?
budget thing
Yeah.
last
The
year?
outside agency group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They consider them outside?
And they are, we don't own it, so we're funding it, just like the Pines.
A shared resource is a shared resource, should be 50/50, but no. You'll see more and more of that as you continue being a selectman.
Well,
I have-
isn't one of them's got his house for sale?
We wish.
Because funding the library is an issue for me. And I like libraries, but that's a lot of money for an entity that has millions of dollars in the bank, or stocks, or whatever. To whom did you speak for the local businesses that didn't want the trees replaced? Just out of curiosity.
The tattoo place, TLC,
Between here and down.
Hello Gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous.
The salon next to TLC,
The
before you,
ones in that particular neighborhood of the street.
because it's visible, almost that whole block is very visible now with those trees gone.
That's true.
So I said, one tree's coming back. Oh, no, don't bring it back, don't bring it back. I said, well, that's up to the board. But they're very happy with them down now, that so everybody can see that there's businesses down there.
On page 4, I found the number. Third paragraph, Selectman Dawson stated they would need a shut-off before the meter. I said they should put, because if that's where I was shutting it off, there would be no water in the meter to freeze and destroy it. The pipe might burst, but it's cheaper to replace the pipe than the meter.
Where's your pipe?
It comes out of the fountain part of the trough, comes up and then goes over. They put the meter at the end and then gave me a shut-off here to attach the hose to. So if they just left the shut-off here and then put the meter on and gave me not a faucet one, but just a shut-off, and just connected a connection on the end of the meter for me to put the hose on. Just saying.
Page 4, under the town administrator report, second bullet, it's a collapsible bollard, not ballard, B-O. L-L.
B-O-L-L.
Bollard. L-L-A-R-D.
Like you got somebody out there singing.
Can I ask a question? The last page under town records, apparently there are certain selectmen's minutes missing from the vault. What minutes would those be? What does that pertain to?
Everything before 1974, I think.
Now, I've seen some of the minutes before 1974.
Me too.
What in hell happened to the minute?
No one knows.
All of them are gone.
I
Now,
haven't had the pleasure, so
I
I guess I
haven't
never
looked-
will.
Pardon?
You want me to add that? From before?
Well, I think it's the 70s. There's one book down. The last book is like, I think it's 74, 75, and 76, but I have to be
Do
certain.
you mean that all of those minutes from like the early 1900s and
1876.
1800s? Remember
Everything,
Episcopal Day or whatever in February?
everything's missing.
Yep.
From like 1902 or, oh, that's just such a sad thing. Oh, that's really bad too.
They're irreplaceable. Now, I haven't
Those are
looked-
a legal record.
I haven't looked to see if they were boxed and brought up here or put in the basement. I mean, we throw some things out, but I looked through some and Pat looked through every single book that was thrown out. I mean, these are bound. Gail
The ones that
Twombly,
we threw out, ones that she's
They were
talking about that
ledgers.
we threw out, were the ledges from the Grange, the Iona Savings
Yeah.
Bank downstairs. That's what we threw
but you
out.
still look through them.
And-
I looked through every single one of them.
And we looked
These were
at some of the old
These were
town
bound by Gail
reports and stuff.
Twombly.
Yep,
Gail Twombly had these all bound.
yep.
They're very similar to the books that Cindy has in the safe that have town meeting minutes in it.
But the safe was cleaned out.
Behind her desk, in her
The
office.
safe has been cleaned out?
These minutes
No, they're
were in the
gone.
safe in the meeting room,
Nobody knows where
the
the
walk-in.
The town minute meeting.
walk-in,
The town meeting minute.
yep.
No, town
No.
meeting minutes are kept in the safe in Cindy's office.
Okay, they're still
Those are
there.
there, I'm just
Okay.
saying, that's how they were
Right.
bound.
It's all the other minutes.
Evidently, there was a cleaning done of the walk-in safe where things were thrown away without
Or
the,
moved.
Without the committee's
without the
permission.
committee's permission or knowledge.
Who's on that committee?
We appointed the town administrator to represent us, because normally it's a selectman.
Yeah.
Yes.
The town clerk, there's a list, I have it here.
Trustee of the trust fund.
Trustee of the trust funds, and there's a couple of others. I think there's one more.
Finance.
I'm guessing they don't meet much.
On it.
Did they meet for this?
No, they haven't met.
They should be made aware of this. Those who haven't been made aware already.
I was distraught when
I am distraught as all hell.
everybody knows. I did not go gently into that good night.
No, she didn't.
We gotta see if we can find those.
So we
Somebody
still
moved
need
stuff in
We
there.
I'm
still need to check up on the stage.
I'm
That's the last
hoping
place.
that somehow they got inadvertently brought up here, put downstairs. I don't know, I'm hoping.
Put down, maybe in the planning.
Joyce and I
box.
went through those boxes up here. Now, I can't swear we went through every box, but there were
I'm
no
horrified.
selectmen minutes in the ones we went through.
So no one has any recollection of when they took them out and what they did with it?
Everybody's
know that-
claiming innocence, I assume.
A few years ago,
Somebody moved stuff in there.
we've got...
Only be so many
We
people.
authorized new shelves for the walk-in safe. Was that 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 1 year ago? Two?
3.
3. 3 years ago.
Put one finger up for 3.
Oh, that's why I couldn't read
One
it.
is 3, keep that in mind.
All right. So, I must be
Having
Italian.
a drink, it's Italian thing.
Okay.
So at that time, there was a cleaning out of the safe. I wasn't aware of it. I thought stuff was just coming out because I was here, and the shelves were going in and the stuff was going back in. I wasn't aware that things were being thrown away at that time, but they were. But it's still hard to think that those bound books, I mean, they're substantial, would have been tossed out. But yet, I've looked in that safe several times. I made the town clerk go in and look with me, and I made somebody else go in, was it you? I made somebody else go in and look too, but we could not find them. They're not in there.
That has some bad potential behind it.
You don't think that somebody could have decided that they were just old things we didn't need and donated them maybe to the library?
No.
Nobody had
do that.
authority to dispose of anything.
In that safe.
Nobody in their right
Anything.
mind
Yeah.
would donate selectmen's minutes to anybody.
None of the
Not
employees
saying
here
it
would
wouldn't
be,
happen.
If they're not
It
around,
happened.
they're not around.
That leaves a lot of room, nobody in their right mind.
Exactly.
It's just a
All right,
horrible
let's
thing.
move on. We had anybody else? Thanks for opening up that can of worms, Joe.
I hadn't heard this before.
Well,
Nice
if
to
you
have you
weren't cooking so much.
Yeah.
Took me a lot of trips and onions to get rid of that.
Yeah. All right, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as corrected.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
I'll abstain as I was once again excused from that particular meeting.
All right.
In a minute.
Okay, next on our agenda, 4:45, we're 6 minutes behind. Tim?
While I'm passing these out, in your to-be-signed folder is a replacement TAN request. And the one that you had signed on October 29th was,
With the selectmen's minutes?
unfortunately, well, I'll admit that it was obliterated, so, and I had hoped that we weren't going to need it, but we are. It's very close, but we're just not going to be able to bridge it.
It pleases me when he says that he's inadvertently obliterated something, because in 7 years, I can, well, actually, I can count on 2 fingers when that's happened.
Well, it does happen. Oops.
At least shows us he's human. I was beginning to think
Thank you.
otherwise. Boy, this is growing.
Now,
Which one we going over first?
well, I'd like to, well, we can go over either one first. Doesn't matter to me. I guess the IT budget would probably
Yeah, that's good.
make the most sense. And while you were discussing the absence of documents in Town Hall, one of the goals that I have is to see to it that we have digital retrieval of any kind of important information. So there are ways of scanning bound books. You can use a tripod mount with a camera or any type of device that'll record, and you have lights, and you flip the page, you take the pictures, then you convert them to PDF and make one large PDF from it. But it can be done. There's some things that you can buy like that, but you can fashion something, just as easily. But it really, I mean, this is a perfect example of, why things that need to be preserved forever shouldn't just be in the safe, but they should be existing in multiple copies digitally, where anybody can access it.
Well, even a fire could destroy paper copies in a safe.
That's
So,
right.
yes, you're right.
Yeah,
If we had a, yes.
Something in the
it's-
cloud.
right. So, and as you know, I'm a big proponent of doing things digitally and scanning, so anyway, to get to the budget for this next year, I did make one alteration from last week, and that was regarding the selectmen's devices. So I put some money in to replace your Thrives for this next year, and
Something more user-friendly, I trust?
certainly. But without any names at this point, but I put in some money for that, anticipating that, these have been around for some time, and I have to look into the upgradability of them with the existing operating system on them, because if I can upgrade them, then that'll take care of some other problems that we've been having, but if not, then it's probably time to move on to something else. But in any event, if you're looking at the page that has major projects and goals, that's page 1, you'll see that in the first section where I have the summary of items of our costs, the first item, hardware, is a summation of the reverse side of this, which is very small, but you can read it. We have currently 44 systems, and including the 4 servers, 29 regular desktops, 11 laptops, and you can read across the top the rest of the systems that we have. And then I have broken out by year how those are replaced and what money we're setting aside for the replacement of those items. Probably the biggest item on here is, because I'm looking for about $8,200 in hardware, the biggest item here is the police vehicle system. And there's 2 schools of thought with this. One is you can go with your run-of-the-mill laptop, $400 to $500, and when it breaks, which it probably will at some point, you replace it for $400 or $500. Or you can go with a $2,400 one that's, kind of a tough book, rough and ready, can take some abuse.
Upgradable?
Not generally.
Well, that's the problem for me, is the Thrives. The technology on my phone is better than that. So if we're going to get something that's nice hardware, but isn't upgradable, if it was nice hardware and you could upgrade it in some way, it seems like it would make sense to spend $2,500.
Well, the police would like more of a tough book type system, but you could replace about one a year for the cost of one of these systems.
Is that in the police cars? Or just on their desk?
We don't have one now, and depending upon the agency, some agencies go high-end, some agencies,
Us.
do, the lower cost. Well, these weren't, the ones we have now weren't that inexpensive. There was an alternative available, but
We
that
paid
was
something
deemed...
like $10,000 for one of
Yeah,
them,
they
didn't
were
we?
over
Go high end,
$1,000. They weren't 24, but they were.
They were about,
up there.
they were $1,350.
Yeah.
And I had
And when did
found,
we get those?
2?
Wasn't that long ago.
no, 2 years ago, I think it
All
was.
right, $1,350 for a 2yer computer.
But I
Are
had...
the
I had
computers
no-
wearing out?
Well, I had an
Before we go
alternative.
further,
It
just need
actually was more than 2
clarification.
years.
These are
a little
the-
bit more.
These are those things we bought for inside the car.
Inside the car, right.
Okay.
So at the time, there was an alternative, which was about 60% of the price. So they were about $625, $650, as opposed to $1,300 and change.
Think they wouldn't have lasted 2 years?
No, I think they would have been fine. It just didn't have exactly the specs that were desired at the time, but that, we were also asking these to do more with the in-camera, in-car camera systems, whereas now the video, the cruiser video is being handled by the body cameras. So,
So we spent all that money for the in-car camera, we're not using that at all.
they're being phased out, that's correct. Mhm. I mean, they're operating, but we're not adding new to it.
They were inconsistent. They didn't show
Yeah.
things. If they weren't pointed in the right direction, you didn't see anything. And that's why we went with body cameras. That's why I voted
They,
for body
I did
cameras.
too, and that was part of my criteria if we go with body cameras. Are we going to phase these other things that haven't worked right from the
Yeah.
beginning out?
Yeah.
They are problematic. They do require a lot of hand-holding and maintenance, and usually the source of problems in the cars that have them in the cars today, it's usually a USB conflict. We have our 3G antenna, for Verizon, our
Erica.
mobile air card, thank you, is USB. We have USB keyboard. We have this USB camera system hanging off of it, but it has multiple devices. It has a front camera, it has a rear camera, it has connections to the black box. And so there's a number of things coming off of these, and USB is, even with some industrialized mounted USB-powered hubs, it's still the weak link. It is, there's no question it's the weak link, and that's where we have problems. The
So
cords
will
get frayed.
these
they're weak.
computers link wirelessly? The $2,500 ones?
Oh, yeah, no, this $2,400 system would more than suit our needs. I just wonder if we really need to go that
So we
high
can get
end.
6 of them for $2,400, though.
Of the
Okay,
cheap
Four,
ones?
at least four. I
So,
would say if we were to go a $600 system, that'd be the higher end. I could probably get them for $5.
I just cannot I really can't go for $2,400 for one system for one car,
Well,
one vehicle,
the
and then you'll be rotating it. We're paying for a cruiser every year, we're paying for vests every year, we're paying for guns and whatever,
Licensing,
licensing,
software.
software, everything. I mean, come
gotta
on.
stop.
You can't, at some point in time, you can't have the best of the best.
Right. Well, and
It's not like it's going to be...
I think in the past, the officers have equated these systems with the problems they've had in the cars. But the problems they've had in the cars have been related to one of two things. The fact that, and I don't know how to put this delicately, but it's like the keyboards are like socks. They all want to wear their own socks. They don't want to wear somebody else's socks. And so they have more issues over the keyboards, and maybe that's just the way things work when you're using multiple people driving the same car, but I can't even begin to tell you. You would think that a keyboard wouldn't be any big deal, but it is one of the biggest deals for them. They just bought some new equipment, thinking that this would be a better keyboard for them to have in one of the vehicles, and I just got called yesterday because there were problems with this particular keyboard. and the
excuse me,
system.
they bought IT equipment?
But I was just, let's
Yeah.
not gloss over that.
Well,
Who bought
so
this?
I'll have to address that with the chief, because that was news to me on this item. So, anyway,
We'll quickly step over that one.
that's where
don't
we've.
think so.
Well, I'm
For
just
now.
saying that's where we've had problems, things like that.
I need to ask you a question. My knowledge of technology and computers. So my understanding that the $400 computer versus the $2,400.
Call it $600.
$600 computer versus the $2,400 computer is going to get them to the exact same information, data, everything. The only difference is the device is, the $2,400 is a tougher structurally device?
That's correct. Yeah,
That's the difference. And aren't the computers in the car in a console? They're not just flopping around on the seat? They're hooked into a device.
Well, yeah, particularly with
There's a bracket.
With the Havas,
Right.
it's actually sitting in the trunk on a bracket, right. So that's why I think it's less likely that we need to have and that's why I brought this up, because it's really a stylistic thing. Do you take your chance and have a BIC PC that you replace every year, or maybe not every year, which has been our experience with these systems. But like I said, the complaints, I think, are largely related to the complexity of the camera systems in conjunction with the systems that are in the cars. So I think, as we're going into new systems, I don't think we're going to have the same issues. And I don't think it has to necessarily be a $2,400 one. Now, there are ones in between. There's like a $1,500 one that's, tougher, but not to the degree of these. But these are the kinds of things that you'd see out at construction sites or in the military or, things of that sort.
Yeah, they're basically built so you could drop them or rough handle them or get them wet or anything like that. Now, $2,500 for one of these, if you were paying $600 or $500, and you place one a year, that's 5 years, but each year you're going to be getting a faster processor or upgrades.
That's correct.
If you pay $2,500, 6 years from now, that's going to be
A
nothing.
squirrel in a cage.
It's
That'll last like 10.
My reason for discussing this with you is because I just want you to understand that I would prefer to have the less expensive and replace them out if we need to. Because if it lasts 3 years, then we're way ahead of the
If
game.
it's not upgradable, if the expensive ones are upgradable,
Well,
maybe.
I mean,
But
there's
if they're
some,
not
never
upgradable,
No.
I mean,
The
there's...
motherboard's
there's some,
I'm
changed.
confident that you will be able to find a system that'll work just fine in that car, that isn't going to cost us.
And especially when they're strapped down, when they're strapped down and mounted, and we have the Havas controller, it's a whole different story, as
Okay.
opposed to flopping around in the front seat. So,
All right, now I have a question.
One more
When you-
question now, why do we have to buy any?
buy any systems?
Yeah.
Well, for the new car, we'd be
But
putting...
we don't need to replace all of them in all
Oh,
the
no,
cars?
no, no,
Oh, okay.
no.
So as we need them or they break, we'll get the
What I
latest
would-
up-to-date model?
What I will probably do is modify the 2400, bring it down to replace one of the existing systems that we have, or at least have money to replace one of the existing ones, and then have money to buy one for the new vehicle. So I'd probably bring it down to 1200. And then I'll adjust out all those subsequent years from the 2400. But
So,
if the selectmen said, no, we want the top of the line,
No.
I don't want to hear
We'd
any
love
more
to have
about
it.
razors.
I don't think that the selectmen are saying that. I think consensus is that we would love to have the top of the line, but we don't want our budget
Well,
affected that way.
We don't need the top of the line.
And-
You buy the cheapest thing
That's
that'll
right.
do the job.
If you just keep in mind,
Work.
too, that, and I only tell you this because it's hard when you're sort of hearing a complaint about something. When someone complains about a system, it isn't always the computer system. Sometimes it's the connection, sometimes it's, all kinds of other things. So, yeah, I could see 3 or 4 people sitting here, and where there's a problem with the keyboard, it's the system.
Hey, I complained last week, it was me.
Right, that's right. Oh.
That was a-
How about user error?
I was
Start
wrong.
twitching.
you threw him under the bus.
I threw him way under the
I
bus.
have the tire tracks to prove it.
All right, I have a question on
Be a
this.
solid blue shirt.
All right, let's bring this back here. I have a question on the budget.
Yes.
Where you say, let's look at prosecutor, I know that's a poor example, captain. What's the one in the 2016?
Sure. Where you see these ones, these are systems that I've either procured, either through refurbishing one that we've had, upgrading it, or I've gotten it from the court system. We've been fortunate in that I now have, I think I have 5 systems that I've gotten from the courts that are very capable systems for desktop office use. And so those are coming from the best systems that we have available of those. The other thing, too, is you'll note down in monitors on the very bottom, I have no money for monitors because I picked up, I filled the car with monitors. So I have a lot of monitors, and one of the things I'm going to be looking to do in 2016 is to sell some of the wireless access points that we're not going to use.
Yep.
And I did check with the federal court where we got them, and they're running anywhere from $300 to $350 on eBay, and I have somewhere around 15 of them that we're not going to use.
Got extra WAPs?
Yes. Yep. And now they're a little dated, but they're still fetching good money. So I'm hoping that if there's something unforeseen in my budget, that I'll be able to kind of trigger some additional revenue. But in any case, that's why. So you see monitors, nothing there. I haven't identified any particular printer that is in dire need of replacement, but the fax machine in the PD just about went last week, and we had to scramble and get that taken care of.
What, so that's complete, you had to buy a new one?
No, we were able to,
You've got a new one here for next year.
it turned out to be, right, because the one that's there used to be the one that was here, and that's about 8 years old now, so.
What's NAS drives?
That's network attached storage.
Okay.
So we have additional unused bays in those. We just need to buy the drives, and they're
Okay.
Western Digital Red Enterprise drives, so they're good drives.
You go solid state, or
I'd really like to, but boy, the
keep your
price-
eyes out,
you know,
open?
The prices have been still, very high for the amount of storage we need.
What size?
We've been doing 3 terabyte
3 terabyte?
drives.
Are these the selectmen's devices?
That's correct. So the smattering of systems, is just,
I don't see a scanner for the land use.
that's in this year's, and that's
Okay.
happening before the end of this year.
Got it.
Media, microphones and speakers, exactly
Speakers. It's
to replace or add to this?
to replace those speakers, to try to find better, now the speakers that I've been quoted are in the $700-800 range for auditoriums and churches.
Getting a sound sphere?
I think we can probably find something for less. Yeah, I'm hopeful we can find something for less that would, do
These
this well.
speakers are still functioning, yes?
This
Not
one
well,
craps out all the time.
not well. The amplifier is almost, I think, 18 years old or 20 years old.
Just broke in.
It's still working.
It's still working.
Does it have
Broke,
like,
don't fix it.
does it have tubes?
It might. It's very possible.
cool if
It gets
it did?
warm. It gets toasty
Well,
over
then it
there.
might have tubes.
So in any event, on the face page again, in software, there's one new piece of software which I alluded to last week, which is the Guardian tracking. Now, there's an annual cost, as you can see, and then a one-time setup. And this is really to protect, to track all the disciplinary actions, the good actions, anything that supervisors and management at the PD are going to keep track of.
Well, it also
regarding
keeps
personnel.
track of their reports, too.
Keeps track of their reports.
If there's one coming up due for court,
Yep,
there's a flag that goes off. that
that's
says-
right.
Who has to deal with that system? Somebody has to input this stuff.
Right, it would be the PD. They would be doing this on a regular basis. They'd be monitoring it. Probably
Sergeant.
the sergeant and captain
Yeah.
and supervisors would be the most, well, I mean, the patrolman would be using it as well, but in terms of ensuring that nothing falls through the cracks, things like that would be management.
We don't have anything that takes care of that now.
Not like that does. And there's demos available if you'd, like to see it in action.
Yeah.
What did we hear on the side of the folding machine?
I'm still trying to get information on that. There are 2 tiers of folders. And boys, some are just wildly expensive. There's one that I have found that's $1,000, but it's made by Pitney Bowes, but it's not their current model. So I'm trying to get a hold of our current postal provider, who is our authorized Pitney Bowes dealer, and get some pricing from them, but I wasn't able to get that today. So, but I think we're going to be able to do something for less than the 3,700. But they are pretty impressive if you see them
And
in
it's
action.
comparable to what they're looking for to,
Not quite as fast as the $3,700 one. I mean, the higher
they'll
dollars.
fold stuff, they'll do all the actions that they wanted.
Well, the only one I think is not necessary is sealing it, because when we run the postage through, we can seal the envelopes at that time. So the folding and stuffing, some fold, stuff, and seal, but I don't think we need that last
We get the
item.
mailing.
And then the other thing, too, is you can also have them insert a secondary page, whether it be a notice or a brochure or whatever it is, and then there are other options of adding a whole nother tray, which I don't think all that is necessary. To have a second sheet of paper, most of them do that today.
You can only
The base
send
systems.
the tax bill.
Well, right, for
You can't
taxes.
send anything else.
No, but if you were,
Except the tax bill.
but if you were doing a
No
mailing.
advertising, no,
Right.
nothing.
But if you were doing a mailing from the selectman's office, you might want to have more than one sheet of paper.
Or land use or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but in any case, those are the options. So I'm still looking into that, and I'm still planning that would be something out of this year's
This
budget.
year's budget, okay.
Tim, one of the things, occasionally we have to do voice calls. I don't know if we could get a better setup for that.
Yeah, I've looked into, we're limited by our system. I looked into a Polycom. It appears as though the Polycom 1, which is an older version, it's got kind of like...
Boomerang type.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It appears as though one of those worked with the ESI system, but you can't dial out on them. So you can connect a call, but you can't do anything. I mean, you have to use something else to connect the call.
So it won't hook to the system.
Well, you can use it as a speakerphone. It's just you have to go through some gyrations to do it.
So you
each time.
dial on the other phone, then click it on.
Apparently, yeah. It's almost like it connects through the headset. Because each of these phones has a headset jack. But there's so little information available. I found a used one on eBay for $25, and I toyed with, but I don't really have any hard evidence that it's going to work, so, but it is, we do have a 30-foot cord on this particular phone, but I am looking.
Yeah, because actually those, you can hear whoever's near it, but you
not-
can't hear the peripheral.
Right, if you had a 360 speaker, it would be perfect in a conference-type call.
Right.
Whether it be,
Well, I think
Yeah,
whenever we
John's
go to
right.
replace the system that we have here,
We should keep that in
have
mind,
that, yeah. Outside of that, the TriTech software, other things in here, these are based off of upgrades that I'm doing at the end of this year that were in the 2015 budget, so the maintenance is based on that. Let's see, I think you're familiar with our services that we have. Acorn is that radio and phone recording. The cloud storage, we're still way under what we're spending now, but we spend roughly about $2 a month currently. But I am using more bandwidth for the cloud, and that's going up some, but I put in $10 a month for that. So then we get to Alert Tilton. And I'm really torn on this. I've pushed them to the point where I can get 13 months for this price of $3,600. So I got an extra month out of them, but they won't discount any further. Our tier is a $5,000 tier, and we had gotten it for $3,600 to begin with, and they're just not they just will not budge off of that. I've tried any number
It
of ways.
sounds like drug dealers. They get you hooked on it, and then they raise the price.
Well, no, they haven't raised the price. It's the same price that we've paid.
Yeah,
but,
they gave it to us for $3,600. That was the price,
That was
right?
the price, yeah.
All right, and now they want to raise it $1,400.
No. What I'm saying is that if a new customer had come in and with our criteria, it would be $5,000 to them. They've discounted it to $3,600 for us.
And that's what we're going to continue to pay.
That's what we have paid, right.
Could we save any money? The other day, I got 8 texts
Yeah,
on that. I
yeah.
think one would have done.
I got one. I just
You got one?
one,
They,
yeah.
they spread,
Oh, mine exploded.
goodness.
yeah, they spread.
I
If
just got
Horrible
the one.
noise.
Oh, my
they go,
God.
if they go past the character limit for, a text, it'll split it into,
No, this was the
3,
same one 8 times.
8 times.
Our problem with this Alert Tilton is we don't use
Well,
it to
you
the full
alerted,
capacity
yeah.
that we could. We don't have, how many people besides town employees or officials are on it?
Anybody who signed
other
up.
words-
1,200 some odd people that are on it,
I wonder how
right?
many times
Yeah, it
you're in
went up.
there.
But we are
I
population.
think you have to sign up for it.
That's right. So we're not promoting it out there. That's like, I would think it would be a great tool for the seniors.
Well, you can do, well, so here's the thing. I had found one last year that's a per-use basis, but it only calls and texts, and so it's a half a unit per text, and it's a unit for a phone call. But it doesn't do polling, so it's not going to, say, this is the ice storm, are you alive in your house, or do you need help?
Right.
It's not going to capture that kind of thing, which is what Alert Tilton does.
Well,
don't-
I
But I
got,
think
don't
if we...
use it as
if we-
much as we
right.
should.
I think if we promote it more and allow the people to, I think half of Tilton doesn't know that we have such a thing, such a device for them to sign up.
Right.
Just having it on our website to say, hey, sign up for it. We don't have enough information for them to say, this is what it's going to do. It's going to alert you. The next storm, it's
Yeah.
going to tell you that you can't go down Halloween night down to Main Street between 3 and 6. You can't do it. And-
Right.
And so those are the things that get them to the libraries, get them to the schools, get them to the residents. So we have, 1,200 alerts now that go out?
I'm trying to think what the number was. Gosh, I gave that to you recently, John.
Was it 14 or 16, somewhere around?
Somewhere
It had
around
gone
there.
up from
It had
the
gone up
previous
there
year.
from the year
I
before
don't
that.
think it's that high,
the
but...
one I got the other day was the first time I ever got one.
Well, you must have just signed up for it then.
No,
I put you in.
I thought I signed up originally, but
No, yeah.
You can't get Joe to sign up, Pat.
I thought I signed up. I thought I signed
thought
up,
I
I
did.
really do.
I think I started to when it was...
Well, in any event, I agree with you. And the other thing is that it does many other things beyond what we're using it for today. I mean, Gail could be polling the selectmen for things and, can you meet at 3 o'clock, and you can punch in 1 for yes, 2 for no. And she doesn't have to talk to anybody. The thing is, we've got to get more people trained on it. Right now, I've spent a little time with Joyce, but just to show her how this last one went.
Well, that was the criteria that you were going to,
Well,
do that.
and so that still needs to take place between the PD and here.
I think we need to keep it.
Okay.
My opinion,
The-
anyway.
The body cameras, that's the second year payment on their 5-year contract. Now, that does include replacements, if we run over it, that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's more than just that payment. And also, I've got to, I'm trying to determine if there is any savings in our licenses for the second year. There was some discussion whether we needed one of the tier licenses in it, and I personally don't have a license to it, so I have no way to log in because it would cost us money, and I shouldn't need any way to log into it. It's something that they just extract data from. It's all
You're
cloud-based.
not the administrator for
I'm not.
this?
No.
For the body cameras?
No.
Who is?
Who is?
Ryan. So it's all evidence. It's all evidence.
Should be by him.
Yeah,
sounds right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, okay. I get it.
So,
You all set?
just had to see Peter, because we're gonna start our budget meeting for the fire department, he's on the committee, and I thought Jamie would be here, so I could tell her. He's gonna tell her.
Got it.
In case he forgets the 23rd of this month.
Okay, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Parks, so I'll be cutting out.
Oh, we get them first. That's
What?
Parks Committee meeting.
Yeah,
We're
they
gonna
start
have to
at
fight
7.
over him.
I told him to walk out at 7.
Not happening.
You could get excused.
Outside of that, I mean,
Good night, Donnie.
I try to purchase our toner.
Is that what the miscellaneous is?
No.
What's
no.
miscellaneous?
Miscellaneous. Oh, no,
Miscellaneous
those are services.
other backup.
4,600
Professional
bucks, yeah,
services.
miscellaneous.
That's miscellaneous, 4,600 miscellaneous?
Sounds like
Well, it's services that I might need somebody to come in and help with.
Oh, that's
So-
okay.
Well, I
a
understand that, but what does that consist of? Why is it miscellaneous?
Well, I guess
Cars,
it's
maybe?
then I guess it should be, other professional services.
Well, that's
But it's
kind of what
not,
it
it's
says.
not anything that I'm planning to spend.
Oh, this is a what if.
Remember, we told him that he needed a backup?
And I'm all about the backup and.
I already got run over last week,
Eggs
so
in one
never when that bus
basket.
comes around.
Eggs in one basket. I was just looking for a little more clarification of what it was.
It's primarily hourly professional services.
Okay.
Guy come in to service the server or that kind of thing.
Right, yep.
Okay, all
Yep.
right.
Or if he goes on vacation and he has a backup.
Yep.
Yep, which I typically handle from remotely, but
It would be,
That's not a vacation.
And that doesn't help with hardware issues.
no, it doesn't, right, yeah.
All right.
But I was just going to say down at the bottom, one of the things that is probably the toughest to police is the supplies, the toner supplies, things like that. And, I look around for the best price I can get, and it's one of those things that, the printer selection means a lot, because if you buy the right kind of printer that has low-cost supplies, then you're a little bit better off. But still, we have some printers still at the PD that require really expensive consumables.
Did we just skip over communications, or was my brain somewhere else?
Yes, yes.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. Yes. So communications, those are our phone lines and our... Existing phone
Not
lines. Not new. Not new.
Aren't we going to have new? Or is
Not-
the PD getting new?
No, not for the phone lines themselves. These will still be on the analog lines in 2016.
Is this for,
This is the actual service, so our phone service. So we use Bayring.
It's a
which is
monthly
an
bill, right?
Aggregator, right.
Yeah.
An aggregator for Fairpoint.
Oh, this
So
is,
they buy a lot
phone
of Fairpoint
service.
service, and
Yeah.
then,
this is
Right,
not the system.
that's
okay,
right.
so
Yeah,
for
it's
sewer
not
commission,
phones.
we
Why
don't
is
pay
it so
anything for this
much?
phone?
you do. You do. We apportion the
Your
cost of that
hardware
phone
is
monthly.
here.
It's,
you got a bunch of
Okay.
I
lines.
think,
at the police.
$35.
I can see
think
them
we
all
got a
for
couple here.
And then I know Joanna has
one at-
Fairpoint for all the
Two
individual
at
pump
Public Works,
stations.
'cause you got
Well,
Fannie's
only
and Co.
because,
Right, they've got a call, yeah.
well, I don't know, try to find,
Yeah.
use a card or something,
Oh,
because they
senior
never call,
center.
most of them never call, and we're paying $40 a month.
Really?
That's good.
Yeah.
How many cellular phones are on this, in there?
Oh, I have a list.
Do we have one package, or do we have multiple?
No, we have one package, one
So all the
package.
cell phones are under one?
All the cell phones are under one. There are cell phones for the vehicles, there are air cards for the vehicles, and then the
Police
prosecutor...
department now?
Well, it's primarily the police department. The prosecutor has a telephone.
Doesn't
The-
Highway have one?
The highway has one, and also
Just
the
to
chief.
show it's not all PD. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I was getting...
Every
And
vehicle
Joyce-
has one.
Joyce has one, you have one.
Why do
correct?
we have cellular phones in the cruisers if they have radios?
So the reason for this is that the officers, when they're working on a case, they will attempt to reach somebody at their house or make a call, leave a message for someone, and then when that person calls in, they often will reach Belknap after hours, and Belknap will radio the officer saying, you have a phone call, and let them know that they have a call to make, but the only way they'd be able to call them back is either to drive back to the PD and place the call, or use their own personal cell phone, in which case they don't, there's a way to hide your number, but they don't want to use their own cell phones to call.
Seems like a convenience.
Well, they used to have the blue boxes on the telephone poles here and there, but those are gone. But, a lot of times if they can't say something on the radio
That's
or
right.
something like that, or,
That's right.
I mean, I've
It's a safety issue.
called,
Yeah.
Tilton is what, 11 miles widest?
Those are very stripped down.
give them a roll of dimes anymore. you
Those
know.
are very
they can go
stripped down
back to the-
phones. There's
There's
no data. There's no data or, other usage on those phones. The highest usage phones are the chiefs and the prosecutors. And the prosecutor is requested to have some additional services put on his phone, and I'm weighing that now with the chief, so I haven't done it.
Gaming and apps.
No, it's it's an issue of watching the body camera videos at the court, where the defense attorneys often don't look at the video, and and the court
Doesn't he have a
doesn't
computer?
open up their wireless. They've just started to open the wireless, but in the past, they hadn't had their wireless open at all. So he hasn't been able to show the defense attorney, well, look, this is what your guy did, okay, or we plead out, and so it's just, but it's something I haven't done yet. We have unlimited data on these, under this contract.
They can't pull it into the computer. How does he suck it into his phone?
No, he
Through the
can.
4G.
It's the defense attorney. The way the body camera evidence.com works, well, in any event, there's a way for a defense attorney to view the body camera video in their own office.
Yes, I remember that.
But they don't, sometimes.
Yes, I understand
So they
that.
get to court, and then our prosecutors actually had to testify that this is what's happening in the
I
video.
understand that.
Yeah.
But why is it if he can't pull it up on his computer, how can he pull it up on his phone?
Well, it's that the defense attorney won't pull it up
No,
on
I'm
his
talking
computer.
about the prosecutor.
The prosecutor can pull it up on his computer,
Then why does he need it on his phone?
because that's what he carries with him when he's at,
Well, maybe he ought to bring a tiny computer.
perhaps. But it's an issue of having access.
It's convenience. What you just
Communication
described as
access.
convenience.
Well, and that's why I haven't done anything about it yet. I'm
Thank you.
trying to
Where else can you fire off?
weigh that.
Can't the copies of the
inconvenient.
videos be downloaded?
No. To distribute, you mean?
A
No.
copy of it so that can be brought to court? How can it be used for evidence if you can only look on it, a phone
But he
this
can bring it
big?
to court. We just heard it.
He
Look at it on
can
his
bring it to
computer.
court, but it has to be in his, there's a possession link. There's a chain of
evidence, yeah,
of evidence that has to be
preserved, yeah.
preserved, right? So you
Yeah, so he
can't,
could bring a copy to show the judge.
right,
He does, right on his phone.
does.
Yeah, but why would we
He
have a
could do
body
that-
camera that the only thing you can do is see it on a foreign screen? You can view it on any
I
computer.
don't want to get you all caught up on that one item. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you that there are requests made that
Unauthorized.
I don't just, say, okay.
Yeah.
So, but that reflects really our current contract and in anticipation of.
So what
pricing increase.
percent increase is this?
Over the prior year?
Yep.
It should be less this year because we aren't putting all that infrastructure stuff in that we put in last year. Remember, we spent. we
Oh,
got
no,
the
yeah,
Kelly-
no, the budget, yes. No, the budget's down. I thought she was
IT
talking about
budget?
specifically, yeah. Yep, it's down from last year.
Just last year, you had a big year.
Right, we're down 8%. A little more than 8%.
Does this include new phones for town hall?
No, it does not. No, and the phone system that, in fact, there's a demonstration on Tuesday of one of the vendors. If anyone would like to attend, I can email them, the place
The
and time.
hardware
What are
of
we
the
gonna do?
telephone?
how much is it to replace the phones here?
The phones here, it's about, it was roughly about $6,300.
What's the matter with the phones here?
We're going back to
Well-
rotary.
No, this was,
I got that.
in the RFP, I wanted to make sure that whenever we had to replace the system, which I'm not saying we have to now, but whenever we have to, we've got a plan in place, because the last time we had to replace the system in this building, it had to be done like
Right.
that, and, you know, we
It
kind
blew
of...
up.
I thought there were lines I thought we were all filled to capacity, and there are no other lines that could be put on this system.
Here? Yes. Mhm. Yeah, but we don't,
So-
it doesn't seem as though that we've reached the capacity where we're having complaints because of it,
Okay.
at least as far as I can tell.
Okay, got it. All right,
So we're
let's
not
move on.
ready to go to the voice over IP here?
No, not yet. No,
How-
and the
when
first
would that
step-
be?
The first step would be the PD, and I'm anticipating that we would still be copper into 2016, maybe towards the end of 2016, look to switch over. It really amounts to the kind of deal you can get on these PRI, which is basically your pipe of voice over IP lines. And we still have to maintain, I would anticipate we'd still need to maintain copper line at the PD and a copper line here. So the emergency line at the police department and a main line here. So that if all internet went out, you'd still be able to pick up the phone.
So it wouldn't be cost saving? I'm sure you ran the numbers on what we would save on all the...
Yeah, it's, we would have more capacity for a little less price. But it all depends on, the prices have come down a lot, and vendors are now offering more fractional trunks, if you will. So you don't have to get a 24-channel PRI. You can get lesser PRI and spend less money.
All right,
But it's pretty complicated. So in any case, that, I will adjust down another $1,200 from that IT budget in your next iteration. And then in the budget document, there are three new items in there. One is that it's been updated for the moderator's budget. And now this, keep in mind, this is not only the moderator's salary, but also the election registration line in administration. And we have the 4 elections, and then we've got to use the high school 4 times during the year as well, which that's the only thing that I have not put in is the school use, which looks to be about $600 per event, not including our town meeting. So the town meeting is more like $1,000 because of the recording, and it's on the weekend. But otherwise, it'd be somewhere in the maybe $500 to $600 range. And that's something we've got to check with them on, if they're going to charge us for certain things because it's on a Tuesday, or were they charging us for these on Saturday because they wouldn't normally have them on or people available. So we have to look into that. But in any event, it's updated for the moderator's salary and election registration. Also, the Parks Commission number went down slightly, and the Public Works Director, Van Tassel, did meet with the Parks Commission, and I'm sure he'll probably update you on this when he speaks with you, but essentially, what the groups are looking at are having the Public Works Department just mow 132 and a little strip of grass at Buffalo Park, which in reality is probably no more than 2.5, 3 hours of work, maybe a little bit more. But it's a minimal amount of work because there's 2 zero-turn mowers that can be used to cut 132. And to net it out, those activities can probably be done within the existing budget. Now, he's got some plans on, which he'll talk to you about. I'm not sure if it's going to be tonight or another time, but plans on some summer help and other projects that he would do with that summer help. Those are not in this particular budget. The other thing to keep in mind that as there's no appreciable cost for that work to be done through the Public Works Department, there's really not much savings in the Parks Commission budget, because they're still going to have a contract for Riverfront Park. They're going to contract out Civil War and Vest Pocket Park. And so basically, in fact, Selectman Fogg volunteered his time to cut 132, and I don't know that anyone was aware that there was a strip of grass at Buffalo Park that needed cutting, but I'm sure someone's been
Where is this grass?
cutting that.
Along the parking
Around the
lot.
perimeter of the parking lot, and it's been done by the lawn maintenance
Total
company.
Grounds.
Total Grounds.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought it was that was a conservation area.
Yeah.
Why are they mowing it?
You'll have to ask the Conservation Commission, because the Conservation
John,
Commission
why are they
asked
mowing
the
it?
park commissioners to maintain Buffalo Park and requested
Ah.
that we mow the grass around the perimeter of the parking lot.
I wasn't aware of that.
And that's what we've done. And I think they do some, Peter, do they do brush cutting there as well? I think they
Where?
do some trimming back in the parking lot only.
Do you know around what that costs?
I
What,
can
the
tell you.
mowing?
The individual
Well,
component of that?
we really getting hung up on time here.
Yeah.
We've already
So-
eaten through most of Joyce's time.
Okay, so I have just one other item. So in any case, I just wanted to explain that as of it stands right now, there doesn't seem to be any additional cost due to those two items for Public Works that's appreciable, and there doesn't seem to be any savings in the Parks Commission budget. So as a result, both of those are still the same, and like I said, Director Van Tassel will be talking to you about some ideas with personnel. The last item I had was I verified with Hall Library what their request is for 2016. So after a lengthy discussion about this, the request of the town of Tilton is $129,111, which is what I put in here. It's $2,000 more than what was in last week's budget document. This is, I've got to talk to her a little bit more about this, but the way she explained it to me, it made sense. But essentially, where ours is going up by $2,000, the request of Northfield's going to be up about $8,000 over last year, over what they paid. So,
Yeah, but are they going to pay?
well, that's just it. I mean, that's what happened last year. The request was the same to both, but they put theirs into a warrant article, and that's how it was.
They're requesting the same number from both towns?
They're requesting the same number from both towns, 129, 111.
Okay.
They always request the same amount from both towns.
Well, that's what she said, and I explained to her that and she knows the document they submitted was incorrect.
Yeah, because they submitted one, one was 126 and the other was 129.
Right, and so I suggested to her that she's probably going to need to revisit that with the Budget Committee or Selectmen at some point. So, really, those are the only other updates that I have for you. There is an item in your to be signed that I have to make sure that, oh good, I've got all the signatures I need on it. Thank you. I won't even bother talking about it then. Wonderful. That's all I have.
In a nutshell.
I tried.
It's a lot of stuff there.
I know.
This is the budget, 267,682 was the total budget, and that was to be cut. That's a little bit, 129,
Gee, thanks.
129 is a little bit
turn.
different.
That's what, because I reviewed that particular page with her, and she said the correct number for the town of Tilton is 129,111.
That's not splitting. That's what she went over last week
Who's supposed to go
with
down?
Leif Martinson.
See up here, they have Tilton for 129, 110.50.
Right.
And they have Northfield requesting 125, 402.50.
Well-
So if you add those two numbers together and divide it by half,
That's what I suggested.
that's what each one is. So
That's
the
what I-
129 is incorrect.
No.
I was the one who brought the conversation up when they were here.
And they told us it
And
was
they
incorrect.
all that were sitting there said, this is
So
wrong.
what she explained to me was that the only reason Northfields is in there at that amount is because they reduced the amount to
That's
the
right.
library. It should have been 125, 350, and
think at the
3% over that should have
267.
been the 129. So that's why Northfield's request is going up $8,000, and ours is going up to the
This is
129.
their total budget. And their total budget is then divided by
Okay.
2.
But I'll...
So what you're telling
Which
me
comes
is they
to
didn't come up with a whole
133,000.
and divide it that way. They used last year's figure.
So what I recommended to her was that she resubmit and re-explain.
So if you divide by 2, it's $133,731. If you divide their budget number by 2.
But
Right,
you have
but
to
you-
count the
Yeah,
other
but you
incomes.
can't because they
Right, you have
get,
to take into
they have
account
all
those other...
these.
Right.
So, well, I still don't understand why you wouldn't add these two together.
I'm not going to vote on it till I get a new
That's
piece
what I
of paper.
suggested to her, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I explained that.
267,
It just,
subtract those other incomes.
you know, every year,
And then divide the balance
we
in
have
half. That should be the
a
number.
crazy issue with their budget.
Well, she also mentioned to me that the town of Northfield is not going to be doing garbage pickup for them
Yes,
anymore.
they told us that as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Did you want me to stick
Can I borrow the calculator for a second?
And also, these were
Pat,
Yeah, those
just see
were
your calculator.
I didn't have time to wait to go. Yeah.
Are we going to review this new budget? Hello?
new budget.
Well, this
well,
was
I-
printed today.
Yeah, I just went over the three
I have
changes.
2 suggested changes for it.
Why not? You got a meeting to go to? Okay.
He's up in about 15 seconds.
Like,
No, he
didn't get an answer to my
starts.
question.
That's what I mean,
Go
he's
over
up.
it. If we're going to do it next week, and wait till next week.
What is it?
My changes?
Yeah.
Land use. They have $2,000 in here for professional consulting. And they haven't used it in, well, they didn't use it in 2013, they didn't use it in 14, they didn't use it this year. In the land use ordinance, if somebody comes in and they're going to subdivide or site plan, it allows them, the planning board, to have them, to hire an expert and charge them. So there's no cost to the town. And there is an account out there
Sign it.
that the planning board has had for a number of years and is what, $2,200 in it?
25, I think. yeah.
It's just sitting there. So rather than keep raising and appropriating $2,000 that they're not using, they can use those monies.
So put $1 in there, keep the line open.
Sure. And I looked at the welfare director's budget for the past years, and we haven't come close to 50,000.
She took it down to 40.
I think it should go down to 30.
I know I had suggested,
2013, she did 27.
Right, but
You
I
really
mean,
want to take it down that
I
closely?
do, because here's the thing, if we have, I don't remember what year it was, everything collapsed, the economy tanked, everything was horrible, and we spent
08.
a boatload of money. The Municipal Budget Act allows for those, unexpected expenditures. I mean, we haven't used close to that in a number of years. So I think it should go down to 30,000.
Now, is that $9,700 number correct?
That is correct.
some of
That's
the
up
things
to
to keep
date
in
as of
mind
today.
with
Yeah, but that, you're coming into the busy season, too.
well,
So it might
one of
end
the
up
things-
20,000. That's
one-
still a
one of the
damn
things to
sight
think
higher
about
than
is-
45.
Yes, you're right.
The price of fuel is down. There's more people that have available health care options now that didn't have them before.
There's
And that
jobs
has
out there.
been going down. There's more jobs.
There are lots of
It's looking better.
billboard signs.
Yeah.
More ads in the
Are we going to vote on the budget now, or is Tim just presenting us the changes? I mean,
Do you
Well, your
want, do
budget
you want to
isn't
vote it?
complete, the park commissioners isn't complete. They've requested bids.
if you want to vote on it, I'm fine with, I'm just asking that for clarification, because, there are other changes that I have questions for, but I didn't think that this was the venue right now to do that.
Just asking, we're getting down to the wire.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I was
I
just-
agree with
I
you.
was bringing what I had from last week to this week.
And then I wanted to make sure that you got the Conservation Commission budget, and I should have some more information for you after their meeting next Monday to talk about the salaries. It will all stay within their budget request, so they're not asking to change anything within the budget amount, but some detail, but we can talk about that in non-public because it involves personnel. And also, you mentioned we got the moderators, but we still have to find out about if the school's going to charge us.
Right.
And then the assessing,
Do you want to talk about the budget now? Or do you want to look through the budget and talk about it next week? I'm just asking for clarification, whatever you want to do.
I think I want to look at it and come up with, there's several things in here beyond Catherine's that I want
You're
to
gonna
talk
talk about.
about, so,
And
and
you
I'm sure
have-
John's got some issues, and
Pat,
probably Peter.
Should we be devoting like a whole night?
Thank you.
Well,
I
that's
think
what
we
we
should.
Might
This
have
is
to go
important.
pull a
Agreed.
Tuesday or a Monday or
When we
whatever
talked
day.
about the budget earlier, we had suggested to have separate nights for the budget, and it was agreed by the selectmen that we would try to fit in the framework of the budget into the selectmen's meeting, but then, and when we're ready to actually vote on the budget and
Hash it
work
out.
on the budget, it should be a separate
I
meeting.
agree.
Yeah.
But what do we have scheduled for next Thursday night? Anything?
Yeah.
If we,
Property closing?
We have 2 property closings, and we have,
Thinking of having a clear slate for a night.
other than the reports, we have PD
then why
and,
don't we just
That-
spend 2 hours next Thursday night talking about the budget? Or an hour and a half?
Is that the trash?
I mean, it's very close.
No, trash is December.
Yeah, it's very close.
yeah, why don't you have them December 3rd, because you'd be catching up on a week of not having a meeting. That's why we didn't do,
there's no,
it's December 3rd.
right, and that's the last meeting before, and the week after, we're not having a meeting.
Right, so
So
if we,
you want to devote the 19th, we'll just have the closing, which is what, about a half hour?
That may be a little longer.
A little longer than a half hour, and then we don't go over, unless we have urgent selectmen reports that we have to do,
When would
then
you-
we don't take anything else except budget.
When would you like to present the budget to the Budget Committee?
With, John, we have a date of, I think it was
January,
January, right? I think it was the first week in January.
Unless we can get it done before then.
Yeah, unless we can get it in before then, yeah.
our promise date should be in January. And if we get it done before then we'll surprise them and come earlier.
Broadside, I won't tell a word.
Neither will I.
No, we don't have that much that's missing. As I mentioned,
Parks has to,
the chief has some things that need to be nailed down in terms of
12/9, the select board, that's what she has down here.
09.
Parks has to go out to bid
Okay, we
on
can do it.
I don't see why not.
the lawn maintenance because we're reducing the amount that the current contractor is taking care of.
But if anything, your amount for contracts will probably be less
I hope they
for
will.
the two, or else you'd stay the same.
Well,
Stay with the same
exactly.
contractor, right?
So there, it
So,
may,
budget-wise, you wouldn't have to identify the new contractor, so it'd be at the existing level or less.
So we can,
or we stay the way we are and the budget
Right.
doesn't decrease.
Right.
And he has held his price for 2 years, so I don't know if he's willing to do that for a third. So that could increase. In other words, we don't know.
But other than that, there's really the decision on health, decision on some other items, whether they're done this year, next year, or not at all, such as weapons.
Yeah, you had your little list.
Yeah, I have a list of those items. Which
because that's going to change it.
Yeah.
So, all right, our plan is going to be then,
next Thursday.
because that will change the budget as well.
Yep.
Okay. So, 19th, we will do the closing, and then after that, we'll shut it off. We'll have We'll do 15 minutes each of the highway and PD. Just share what's urgent. If there's nothing urgent, we'll put it to the next week. Okay? And then we'll go right into budget, which you need to be here for anyway. All right. And then if we don't finish it, we can finish it up in the last part of the meeting on the 3rd, which will be late. But then we could get a draft to them on the 9th, considering that we still have updates, things, a few that we'll be tweaking.
Now, question, did you want any, like, Parks Commission to come before the board, or Conservation Commission? Did you want to schedule, or just wait and do that when they go before the...
I think once we go over the budget and look at it,
Okay,
then we should start scheduling
okay.
whomever we want to hear. Does any...
We're not going to change any of the amounts that they've requested. Do we still need them to come in?
Well,
We're going to
that
have
was
to
my
justify
question.
some of this stuff to me.
Is there anyone now that wants to have somebody come in and explain their budget? We already heard from Highway and PD
Library.
is exceptional,
The
so,
library probably came in when I wasn't here.
well, they come into the budget, which is a dual meeting. So,
I'll know better next week.
okay.
Yeah, I just looked that over, and I came up with 127,256 when I took their total budget line,
That's what I had done too.
subtracted
Yeah.
their extra incomes,
Doesn't make any
and then
sense.
divide that in half, so...
But it wouldn't be Hall Memorial Library if we did it.
Well, that's what I had suggested to her, but
So I-
Your list of things for this year.
Yeah, so I
So in
I do,
addition to
yeah.
looking over this budget that Tim and Joyce have just presented, we're also going to look at it from a perspective of, do we want to have department heads to come in? I suppose we could have the hall come in to the board. The purpose of having the joint meeting was not to have them come in twice, but where there's a discrepancy, we could.
Maybe if they could send that in.
If they could
And explain it to
make, if they
Tim?
could, right, get us clarification. If that's sufficient enough.
Police department for sure, for me.
Well, police and the highway gonna be here.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a given.
That's a given, they're here. So it's parks, conservation, welfare, town clerk, land use.
If we're
You want any of those?
talking about slashing and burning in health and human services, maybe Heather should have an invite.
slashing and burning.
Well, we're talking about a significant amount of a request, and I don't necessarily think Catherine's wrong, considering the numbers that
I
I'm
don't
seeing
either.
from last year. But if we're doing that, if Heather can't justify the number she requested, maybe she can.
Give her the courtesy.
I think we should.
I wouldn't go, personally, I think 33 would probably be suffice for me, but I'm just
Well, we should have her
leery
come.
about
We
that
should
couple
have
of
her
thousand.
come. We didn't spend 10 yet this year, and even if we spend 20, it's still $10,000 we don't need to raise. And I don't want to
But I
raise
do
money we
believe we
don't
need to go-
need to raise.
I do believe we could go down considerably.
well, we also,
That's one of those things, you could have a meeting, if we ran out of money, you could have a special meeting and get it.
Don't need to.
well...
You don't need to have a special
We
meeting.
have options.
We have an option to do that. It's one of the items that you can, if need be, that's...
Yeah, public welfare
Right.
is...
Well, plus...
And it's a selectmen's budget. We can move money around according to how we're actually using.
There's about $1,300 in the welfare donations line that's restricted for welfare, so that's available to her. That doesn't have to meet the same criteria as the town. And just that you keep in mind, items that we have through the end of the year that we haven't paid for yet are the impound lot, about $17,000, the senior center roof, weapons and ammo, if those are done, the island tree work, the folder sorter, or the folder inserter. So those are some of the items that are still out there.
Did you contact anyone for that tree?
Not yet. The only person I've spoken to is Dylan McGuffin, and I spoke briefly with Catherine about she did send me the list before to go through all the We're talking about the island, right?
Yeah.
The list of all the loggers and make sure that people...
Duggan is the one that went over there to
Pardon
did.
me?
Duggan is the one that went over there to do the, last year that did it free for us and took down the limb.
And it's just right up in our, have them look at the island, see what needs to be done, and get back to us.
There are two...
And send it out to all of them. I mean, we got some incredibly interesting prices when we did that, didn't we? The range for cutting the trees in Manville were,
But it's limited to
30,000
people.
spread.
but let them decide that.
They got to
Big
climb.
difference.
Let's not eliminate them because we
No,
don't
I
think
need to
they can
let
do
them
it.
know that there is no...
They need to look at it.
I have a question on that. We close the island down for the winter?
We
The bridge?
don't
we
plow
put
the
some?
bridge.
It's open
We
to
don't
the
plow
public.
it, but
If they want to walk across the bridge.
Oh, what I was thinking
Some
is, we don't know what we're in for the winter, for ice storms and stuff like that. And if we get more damages, then we'd be having a guy come back in the spring. Might be better off just wait till the spring and see what the winter does for damages to trees, and instead of having a two-shot.
There were two other items that I think on that list that I didn't enumerate because
nasty, but
Johnny is going to be talking to you about them. But there's two other equipment items that that the board should look at for the Public Works Department through the end of the year.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. All right.
Well, just briefly on the health insurance, I didn't get a chance to get you these numbers to plug them in.
Okay.
Asked what the breakdown was of our current enrollments in the various plans.
Excellent, thank you. I got it.
I just cleaned it up a little bit. I took this directly from our current invoice. And if you look at the very bottom, I didn't include we have 3 retirees that are on our plan. They're not included in the totals. And I didn't break them down by union or non-union, but if you can see in the areas that are kind of highlighted, those are our non-union employees. But our MTB 5, currently, we have 13 family members, 5 two-person, 8 single. On the site of service plan, we have 1 family, 2 singles, and we have 1 member on the Blue Choice 3-tier. So we have a total of 30 enrollees right now in our plans. Also,
This document shows 33.
that changes each month. We've added new people. I don't know.
This is
Does that have the
October
retired-
16th, 2015.
Does
October
that have
16th.
the retirees on it?
Yeah, and I didn't include the
This has got
retirees in mine.
33.
So that's the retirees included, I think.
Because it's 30 plus 3.
Yeah.
So this is the retirees.
You got 3 retirees.
Okay.
This was as of October, correct?
And why aren't we including the retirees on this one?
This,
They're not paid through our
this right
system.
here is
We
not
offer
retirees,
plans,
but
but they're
here's
not
your
part of our
retirees
budget.
right here.
they have to pay their own.
Right,
That's right.
and whatever we offer to our active employees, if they're under age 65, by
Okay.
law, they're...
So am I on this?
No. Oh, you're in there, yes, you are, as an SOS.
That's why I
I'm sorry,
asked.
yes, you are
But I pay
there.
my own.
Yes, that's right, but we still have to budget for it. We do not budget for retirees. They're completely off budget. That's all handled through the health.
Okay, so we don't even get billed?
I get a copy of each
No, but
month
they
of who's on
they
it.
pay directly is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Okay.
Same with anybody that's on COBRA. We don't have to budget for them. They're
I get
handled
it.
by Health
I
Trust.
thought that, okay. I thought they paid the same way I did.
And then also, I just want to let you know that in terms of buyouts right now, we have, receiving the full buyout amount, we have 1 family and 1 two-person. The
So
family-
those will be reflected.
No, these are extra, these are people that are
Those are
not
the
on-
only 2.
Okay, all right, all right, so
information.
there's
Let
2
me-
others.
Let me finish my...
Yeah, there's more, yeah.
Okay. Of full buyouts, okay, we have 2 people, 1 union family one non-union family, full family buyout, and one union two-person, full family buyout. We also have current employees who are receiving, they're on our plan, but we give them a partial buyout because they have not brought on other family members, because other family members have other insurance. So you're not double dipping.
I thought we only had a one-tier thing if you don't purchase.
1, 2, and 3, no. If you are enrolled in a single plan, but you could be a two-person or a family plan on the town saves money by paying a buyout so that individual does not come on our town plan.
So it's extortion.
Kind of.
No.
No.
It's savings.
They have other-
Either you're gonna pay me money, or I'm gonna bring my wife over and get insurance.
No, not at all. They're happy with their insurance.
Yeah.
They're happy with their
And
This
we're
is
paying
the
them
best
wide.
way.
so that they don't come on ours.
Kind of.
This is done everywhere. One of the things, we ask them to show proof of insurance.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we do,
Yeah,
yes.
It's required, yeah.
It's the
I'm
best
happy
thing.
with my insurance, but hey, pay me anyway. That's what it is. If they're happy with their insurance,
Well, we do
We're
that
still
with
paying.
people that are on the full buyout. It's like, I'm going to go completely, as an employee, I'm going to go on the other insurance. As you have couples that are like, no, they want to stay on their insurance, and this one wants to come on the town's insurance. It's not
and so
extortion.
be it. But why are we paying for anything for the one who wants to stay on there?
Because it's
I
cheaper.
have this conversation every year. I never
Yes.
win.
It's
cheaper
cheaper
for
than
the
having
town.
them come onto ours as the
But they
two-person.
don't want to come on ours. That's the thing that kills me.
One of
But
the
you know what?
reasons-
They can go ahead and come on, and
They
they
could.
can be on their other insurance, too.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes.
So that means that our employees can do the same thing to their insurance.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Maybe.
Oh, what a game that is.
No, but it isn't, because when the bills are
You'd have to
paid,
show-
they don't.
You have to show proof of insurance, and it wouldn't make sense for somebody to do that.
What we can't do is have somebody deny the insurance for the money, and that they're not on an insurance plan.
Right.
They have to be on another insurance plan.
One of,
In fact, we had to change this in the union contract because we had a situation where there were two employees both working for the town.
Right,
And because the language wasn't clear,
right.
they both got to get the
Buyouts.
buyout.
We've changed that, I trust.
Oh,
Yes, we have.
one of the, just for example, on some of the way places work these things, where I work, if you put your spouse onto the insurance and your spouse had another plan available, you will get fined $50 a week.
I like that one.
I don't know if you can do that.
You can.
Hey, they
It's-
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing it for years, yeah. It's, yeah, if my spouse can get insurance somewhere else, but chose to be on my plan, they have to pay
There's a penalty to be
a
paid.
penalty to be
Well,
on
they
my.
got money from the other place, probably.
Yeah, but you can only bill one entity. You can't bill both
Yeah. Is
for
that
the
crazy?
service.
Okay, now that we know
I
that that's gone
understand,
on,
but we could
let's,
still get a stipend from
so-
his wife's work.
We have four.
Get us back on track, Madam Chair?
yeah.
Yeah, we have
Keep
four
it
people on
good.
buyout. So this is, and
keep
I don't
going.
see,
Economical, good decisions
see this
for us.
changing. This current census
I
most
don't
likely
either.
won't be changing. And then, Tim, in their package, you showed that
Oh, yes, yeah.
we showed what it would be. P1 means keeping the Matthew Thornton Blue $5 copay, and going to the $20 copay
On
P2.
page 14
Where am I?
of the budget document.
Oh, is that
You're
the one
talking
I
about
couldn't
going to
read?
the BC2 T20?
Yes.
All right.
Why not the AB20?
No, the
No, the
AB20.
AB20.
It's
Page
the
what?
AB20.
We don't
Page
offer the
14.
blue choice anymore.
Oh, my God, could you print
I
I
this
thought
any
you said
smaller?
that
The one
ABC
from last week
2T20
can read better.
was going to be available.
Does anybody have a magnifying glass?
Okay, right
I
now,
thought you said these are the ones that are going to be available.
yeah, right now,
These are being phased out.
right. Right now, we have a union employee who's been grandfathered under the Blue Choice 3-tier. We do not offer that to our non-union employees. And that person's grandfathered to the end of the contract year. That one Blue Choice 3-tier plan.
Okay.
We don't offer it to anybody.
And we won't be
Except that
offering
one
it
person.
longer than the end of the year either, right?
Of 2016.
That's the end of the contract? Okay,
Technically, they,
okay.
2017
Okay.
is the contract.
Yeah, contract
Yeah,
year.
so the end of
But I
26.
think once we sit down and do the numbers, I think that that might
very
change.
possible.
Very, very good chance that that might change.
So your budget figure is based on the AB 20?
That's correct.
Because that was our recommendation.
Why not the AB 15I1PEDD?
Well, that was the one that I felt made very little sense. It's a $486 premium savings to the town for a family plan, but the employee would end up paying a contribution up to $1,500. So there's not much savings for the town, about $40 a month premium savings for the town, and yet the employee is out $1,500. It just seemed to be not a very good option. The P2, the AB20, results in a $25,000 savings from 2015 budgeted year to 2016.
For the same coverage with deductible, the copay is
Well-
adjusted.
Really, the only difference being the copay.
Copay, 20 from 10,
Right.
I make a
20
motion, we
from
offer
5.
AB 20.
20 from
Second.
5.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sure.
Just to get back to Catherine's follow-up on what you had said on the AB site of service plans. Currently, with our site of service plan, on a single-family plan annually, even though the town's paying 100% of the premium, we're saving $723 a year. For a two-person plan, we're saving $1,446, and for a family plan, we're saving almost $2,000, $1,952.
That's over 2015.
Over 2015. Also, even using the 25% towards their deductible, if you deduct that from that $4,000 savings roughly, we're still saving about $2,500. And the advantage is your people are getting used to being on a deductible plan. So we're saving money and slowly moving people over. At this time, I don't recommend increasing the amount of that deductible, because we really just don't have the census to offset.
Yeah, I think what Catherine was asking about was
Oh,
the
that
third
15,
that third
yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
That's what I was responding to.
I just wanted you to say it again. I know you said it last week, but I wanted you to say it again to the public.
Nobody would
When
sign
will
up
we
for it.
notice,
I'd like to stay with the ABSOS for this year, for
when will
2016.
we be notifying the employees of this change?
Well, now that you've made that vote, I'll have Candace fax me a new transmittal form. If the board can come in and sign that, then I can go ahead and send out the notices immediately.
Now, is this going to take, because they're not changing this until
January 1.
January 1? Okay. They'll have to come in and change.
Yes.
When we send those,
No, once we make this our base plan, but we have to let the employees know.
It's open enrollment.
That's open enrollment. And then Candace can come up and do some explanations, and also talk more about the health plans, the extra health benefits we get, and explain the site of service plan again, why it might be,
Most people don't like changes.
oh, you got that right.
Change is inevitable.
Yes, John.
I think before we even announce the health plan and that we should put a notice out to all employees to explain the buyout plan and the value of it, because right now, their spouses may be signing up for their health plans at work, and it might be worthwhile where they'll make that decision. If we remind people about the buyout plan after their spouses have already opted out, they can't make the changes. So it's important to do it real early, to get that in the employees' minds. I don't know if you can put it with a paycheck, or do you not put things with,
We can.
We can do it with paychecks, just can't do it with tax bills.
because if we get one more, that's
Do
a
paychecks, but what?
big savings.
She was saying not with
He wants to
tax
send a
bills.
notice
right.
out.
Yeah.
But what's the percentage of our employees that have automatic deposit?
Oh, well, about
Mostly.
98%. with a few, but we still receive them, and
Oh, that's right, you
we
sent
can
out
also, I'm sure Joyce could...
We
the
send it
stuff, the stuff.
Just that you get a non-negotiable check or record of what your year-to-dates
Sorry
are.
about the annoying stub.
If we can get a couple more to sign on with that, it's a huge savings for us.
Because you have all the union people are doing it now, right?
Okay,
Except for one.
next is Avatar.
Yes, so the amount that we currently have budget for 2016, we just budgeted the same amount, what am I saying here? This is October 2015. For 2015, we just actually signed a contract for just 1 year of general assessing services.
That's because we
2015.
anticipated bidding it out.
Right, and so for 2016,
Why didn't we do that?
because we just got overwhelmed with other things.
We need an
Well, this
assessor,
is,
so
we could go
time
month
is
to
short.
month.
No, let's do this, and
So the amount that we have budgeted is the 37.5, which would be the contract assessing and 1 year of data verification, for a total of 37,500. So we did have some savings, because we didn't spend the full amount in 2015.
We didn't do the data.
In 2015.
so, if we do the 1 year, are we going to have a target date of May or June to RFP? Because I agree with Catherine, we've done it on all the other services in areas of our town, and we've not done this for as long as I've been a selectman.
Nor I.
So I really do feel, they make him come the lowest, and, I already know their work. I do know that they've saved us a great deal of money in court. So I would
Well,
motion to go for the 1 year assessing and data verification.
okay.
With the understanding that we send out RFPs May or June, no later than June 2016, for the 2017 year.
I'll second that motion.
We've got to get this done. That's due diligence to our taxpayers. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed?
Let the record show. No,
Okay.
it should be bid out.
We don't have the time right now to do that.
We won't have the
We
time
wouldn't
next year
get-
either.
We wouldn't get any good prices right now to try and get it in time for
Well,
January.
We've been going
If we
with this-
started in May,
That's fine, but you know what, for me, I've been bringing this up for about 3 years.
yeah.
So
Well,
I'm not sure
I think
when
you've been
the right
bringing it up-
time's going to be, but
I
I'm a
thi-
broken record.
I think if we do,
Of 2016, it
it
was
has
part
to
of the
no
motion.
later. It's part of the motion.
I'll hold my breath.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Make sure that goes on the calendar in May 2017, 16.
But you hold your breath.
Oh, we are going to do it
Dead by
next year.
then.
There's no excuses. There's absolutely no excuses. Okay. Is there anything else you need to?
Just a couple things. I got in touch with Dan Chapman, and I had asked him if he could just bring in a sample of what the material is, and he said that he probably won't get to it until late November at the earliest.
Probably nobody on the tape has any idea of who Dan Chapman is.
Tilton Senior Center roof,
Son of the chief,
low bid,
Yep.
a few chiefs ago.
2 chiefs ago.
We got a sample. I don't know why you're asking them for a sample of it, because the other bidder gave us a indication of the manufacturing and
I don't
pictures
think
of
I
the
saw
different
it.
colors, and
No, I just asked him, I said if he could get us, just so we can see what it looks like. That's all. It's no,
It won't slow them down.
no.
That's why it's the end of
he's got
November you'll
other
get it.
work. He has other work to do. And I said, yeah, if you can, that'd be fine, just so we can see what it looks like. Okay, that's for non-public. Okay, an update on the Winnipesaukee River Trail. The change order number 3 was submitted and approved by New Hampshire DOT. The signs that we have at the Highway Department, we don't have to put up, but they do need to be, Johnny, if we can take them over to the town of Northfield, that they'll store them over there.
I'm sorry, I wasn't...
The crosswalk signs for the trail and those posts that they took down. So, Yep. So we're all set there. He also told me that the bollard that's up now between where the property line between where the trail ends and Ernie starts, they were supposed to remove those, and they've decided that they're going to leave them up. We don't have to close the gate. We can leave the gate open. We can take the bar off, the one that you hook up. If we don't want to use that, they just said they're going to leave it up. They're still going to put the other bollard up closer. So I have to let Conservation Commission know that. And they will go back and make sure that it's properly compacted. Because remember that last storm? And
We
then...
just had another one, I don't know if anybody's, have they gone up there and checked it, or did they straighten it out?
They haven't done anything. Nobody's done anything.
But they charge us, what, like $6,500 to fix after the first storm, and it still gets washed out?
Yes, they're supposed to be bringing back more socks.
And that won't be extra charge?
I have no idea.
Hope not.
I would hope
You wanna
not too,
bet?
but it's not our contract. So Rip was out last week. I sent him the pictures. I haven't had a chance to speak to him. We're still in the same week, I'm sorry. It was Wednesday, right? So that's good. And let me just go through my little list here. I think we're all set. There are a million phone calls. Okay, I think that's it, and I'll go check on this.
I would like to interject at this particular juncture that how wonderful that park is compared to what we had to start with. Ernie's, that jungle out in back, and nasty bushes and stuff and tires and...
Johnny next time.
It's just a horror show. It's so much nicer. I know it's not done, but I am so thankful for the people who've worked on it. You and Rick Silverberg and Ken Norton and everybody, Glenn Smith, and everybody that's participated in this. It's such a nice thing.
And when
The
the flowers
entrance to our
get
town, the entrance to our town no longer looks like
Like Ernie's.
detergent's junkyard.
copy from me? See where my... I'm a flagger.
Good for you, Kathy.
Certifiable.
Can you demonstrate for us?
Catherine,
The what?
I had a report, but I don't know what I do with it, but there is one other item that I had, which was
When I handed you?
DRA's, Form 60A, which is designating our auditor for this year, 2015, for our 2015 audit. And I'd like to stay with Grizzlek for the 2015 audit. And I'm trying to accelerate it so we can get it done just after town meeting. So I've got things in place where I can, so that we're not out in the August, September, October timeframe, and have it done much earlier in the year. So there's a form that designates that in here that we have to supply to DRA. And we're losing our DRA person who is moving on to the Commissioner's office as a business administrator at the state.
Make motion to subrogate our authority to the finance officer to allow him to sign this form to the New Hampshire Department of Revenue Administration, choosing our auditor for next year.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I suppose.
So
That
he's
doesn't
gonna
go out
sign
to
it,
bid?
right?
Pardon?
You don't go out to bid?
Not just yet.
Not with that.
We had our auditors
not right now.
Many years.
Yep. And provide a great service to us, I have to say.
Well, that's
What does
next.
that cost?
It's over
Runs about
$500.
$16,000.
Remember, that's
Yeah, over
next.
$500.
Beef and auditors.
We'll talk about it in June. I think we're too late now, but we'll talk about it in June when we...
I could take you through the reasons, for...
And that's entirely true, but anything over $500 by the selectmen's policy, supposed to, so I think we can talk about that in June when we discuss the assessing. And that way you'll get in your audit this year, and I know they do good work.
I'd like to get it
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. Johnny, you're up. Quick and easy, come on. Seriously?
Bring it on, John.
Just when you think you got it planned.
Is that your new uniform shirt? Is that your new uniform shirt?
Yeah, it's my new uniform shirt, but we just got him too.
That's pretty funny.
How could somebody go,
I might call you that for a while, Joni.
Jehoni.
not too close, not too close.
Who sent the foreman with it?
What's that?
Who sent the foreman to get that?
I was there.
Do you know how to spell your name?
I told him Johnnny. The thing is, we have another John on the crew. I would have told you the first part.
Well, that's how they differentiate the two of you.
Yeah.
One's J-O-H, you're J-H-O.
They're made in China. It's got a good laugh.
I think you should keep it.
Funny names over there.
But speaking of uniforms, I was looking into the possibility of we put in $2,500 for our uniforms a year. A couple places. The cheapest one I found was across the river at Graphics Designs. They do printing as well on shirts and stuff. For the quality of shirts that they have there, obviously I would check into them a little bit more. I came up with a price. We could buy the crew 5 sets of shirts and uniforms and still get them 2 more sets of sweatshirts, the color that we wanted, like blue is what I assume, printed.
Pink.
For, I sent you the email, for $1,681.50 approximately.
It should be that safety yellow, that way they stick out.
Now, uniforms, correct me if I'm wrong, the uniform line includes the cleaning of the uniforms?
Primarily, yeah.
Okay, so if we spend $1,600 on buying them, where it's the saving, because we still have to get them cleaned, or are you guys going to clean them yourselves?
We clean them ourselves. I asked the guys about it before I even thought about bringing it to you, because I didn't want them to take on something they didn't want to. But for the differences in the uniform, like, for example, the pants, I got online looking around prices, I can buy Carhartt pants. For a good pair of Carhartt pants, it would come in up to the sizes that we need.
Tactfully put.
I could buy them for $35 a pair.
Really?
And, yeah.
Yep.
And so they get a better fitting, quality name brand. The shirts I would definitely look into for the quality of it, the material. But again, it's all at $1,681. I would still say we would need more than just that into the budget in case you hired somebody else or something got destroyed. Let's say hydraulic hose blew hydraulic all over you, ruined your shirt. I could have another one done. Things like that. But it's just a thought.
A potential savings, I like that, John.
So I figured I'd bring it to you guys. The guys actually like the idea of it.
I'm fine with that, too.
That'll come up again when we do that budget meeting.
Yeah, because the water department, I talked to them, that's pretty much what they do now, and it's cheaper than paying for uniform service.
As long
So
as they still look clean and decent.
Exactly, because
Right.
if we did this, we would put a standard on it, I would put a standard on it. This collars, obviously I'd run it through you guys, these collars, and so on and so forth, and you can purchase them next year, and as you built into it and everybody stays, and it might come to a year, hey, I really don't need any more, everything's still good, so you save it there.
What concerns me is that I've had experience with providing uniforms like this for employees, and then all of a sudden, they start showing up like rag bags. And
That's
the
the
pants...
standard he would
That's the
set.
standard.
Yes,
Like,
well, if we do the cleaning, they're guaranteed a clean uniform.
And we do pay for that.
I know we do, and we're talking about an extra $500. And I would love to, I've had problems getting the employees to comply.
That's the thing, I would draft up something to say to go in our policy, really. Pretty much a standard of appearance. Hey, if you're not meeting that standard of appearance, and that's where the little bit of extra's left in. If they bring us back a pair of pants to say that's just worn out at the knees, all right, that's pretty much done. I can order more. So I don't want them to run around looking sloppy all the time,
So
just like you guys don't.
each employee
Okay.
would get how many pants and how many shirts?
Each would get 5 pairs of pants, 5 T-shirts, and 2
Sweatshirts.
So that the sweatshirts would be pretty much the same color as the T-shirt.
Spring, fall, winter, those sweatshirts would get a workout, no doubt.
Will.
Yeah.
So then we need safety vests on top of that if you're
We
going
already
with the
do
blue.
those.
We already
You
have
went
that.
with a,
I can get a
Right.
class 2 or class 3. I can get actually a class 3 shirt with everything sewn in, but the problem with the collar and the striping, if you wear vests, they should be replaced more often than not because they only stand so many washings, and the retro-reflective stripe wears out too, so.
But what about do they get a jacket now for the winter or no?
So far, from what I've seen, they've been bought jackets in the past. The only problem I have with those, again, is it's the same color, like the lime green. You don't have to have lime green, you can't have orange, but as soon as you put it on, first thing you do, next thing, it's just scuffed up and...
So what are you recommending for that, like a Carhartt jacket? No, wait a minute, Dennis had Carhartt jackets last year. Didn't he get the guys Carhartts? Or it was just him?
so when do they wear the
It
vest?
was like almost like a deep
So if I
navy
see them near the
blue.
road in blue, then there's a problem?
Yeah, potential, yes. You should
I'm just,
I would
yeah,
think so,
You
yeah.
should really have it on.
which is why if you have, and not necessarily reflective stripes, but at least the yellow shirt in the summertime, that stands out in the daylight, you can see it.
Now, there's another option. I could do the lime green shirt, without the reflectivity.
Right.
Then you would still have to put your vest on if you're working near the road, but you would always have that on. Because it doesn't work.
How much does the reflective stripes reflect in daylight?
Well, in daylight, you can go down to class 2. At nighttime, you have to have class 3.
Still have to have the vest on
So,
for safety in the
I
daytime.
don't want to change the uniform color, lime green or...
I don't know, I don't, okay,
They have to wear a
I'll
vest.
pay better attention.
They have to wear a
Seeing them
vest.
on side streets out and
Public
beside the
Works
vehicles
departments
without,
across the state are beginning to have the retro-reflective stripes on their everyday uniforms. Because they may not be in the road, but you're often working
Around
near the
well,
road.
in the right-of-way
In the gutter,
area or where the
yeah.
vehicles are going to,
Yeah.
if
And they
something
should
goes
be wearing the
wrong.
vest.
Their own guys could back up into them, or if they blended in.
but yeah.
I talked to the fellows from Hill. All their uniforms have retro-reflective striping. And the reason they got them is because they had so many near misses.
It's not a
And so
bad
they haven't
idea
had
to
any
have 'em.
since
No,
they
it's
got
not,
them.
but the only thing is, if you're doing them, you're washing it, they break down quicker than your other ones,
Yeah,
and that's the only thing.
You lose that vibrancy, you know.
I asked him that, he said they didn't have any problem with that.
Well, I don't,
Because I can look more into that, too.
I don't know where he got them from, though.
they're supposed to be wearing vests.
They're
Why would we
supposed-
increase the cost
They're
of
not
supposed to
instead
be.
of vests.
They should be wearing the vest. They're all got the vest. If they won't wear the vest, why would they, I mean, they gotta wear the
Yeah,
vest.
you're getting off topic here. We
Yeah,
do have the
they do wear
vest.
the vest.
And they do wear the vest.
I know, and I don't wanna be talking about changing the uniforms. They
Joe-
wear vests.
Joe, do you mean wear the vests whenever they are at work, from the second they show up until the time they go home?
Yeah, really.
Whenever they're working near a road,
Okay. The
wherever
rest
they're
of the
working
time-
near traffic, they don't need those reflective shirts inside the garage.
Nope.
So
Maybe
I
they do.
hope they're not spending a
do
lot
they-
of time
when do
inside
they
that
ever work Inside
garage.
the garage, other than Arthur?
Yeah, really.
Exactly.
There.
There's trucks
I think
pulling
We
you're
don't
missing the
need them.
point here.
They're- When they're in the garage, there's
You wanna
trucks
buy a
driving in
different
and out and working.
When they're out
Right,
back,
In the
Fluorescent color.
daylight, those yellow shirts are bright enough to be,
when they're out back running.
I
their-
agree, I tend to
I
agree.
think we leave it up to Johnny
How's it coming in
and let
now?
him do some more
I don't know.
investigating on
I
the
think I
prices
see a
and
lot of
things.
times when they're out roadway, edge of road, and they're not wearing a vest.
I tend to agree with you on the lime green, under normal circumstances, but for safety standpoints, it doesn't cut the mustard as to what is up to par. You have to have at least a Class 2 reflective.
Then maybe we go with that full jumpsuit like Pike has.
Oh, for Christ. No, no.
You want to be seen.
Let's move on.
Well, you want to talk safety, you
I
be
get-
seen.
I don't wanna talk safety.
That's food for thought on the budget.
For now.
For now. The time will come, we'll talk about it, but I wanna move on. We got a lot of things to do.
I'm gonna have to start bringing you guys paperwork.
Yeah, I need paperwork.
Because I've been trying to email it to you.
Oh, no, I saw that.
Okay, good.
I'm good with
And I
that.
brought in gas-powered wet steam and hot water pressure washers. I sent it up to your email. I put on here some purposes for that. One is, in the wintertime, we can use that to thaw out a culvert. That's the reason for the gas-powered, because if we just got electric, that would be cheaper. But it wouldn't be portable unless we lugged a generator with us. And it can be used on the culverts, it can be used to wash the trucks and the other equipment.
You don't have a power washer?
It
I
died.
have a steam
Broken.
thing, but the pressure washer.
The pressure washer broke.
But this, as it stands right now, we do have a steam jet or something like that.
Doesn't do you any good at the culverts, though, does it?
It works, but it's kind of unsafe.
It's not commercial grade. It's Mr. Backyard homeowner grade.
Well, then, I'm good with that.
Okay, and,
I asked
What's-
Dennis last year when I was trying to borrow it
and it comes, you can
for
get them
the
with like
parks.
several different spray tips so that it spreads the fan out, so that way it lessens the pressure if we had to clean a building with it or something.
Or you
Plus,
can
again,
get the one
Ben,
that'll drill a hole through a brick.
How much?
Write your name on the sidewalk. I've seen them.
3,500 to
in your email.
5,500, wasn't
In
it?
your email.
Yep, $35.99.99.
Yeah, 36.99. and-
5,300.
Was it 53? I was going to say 50-something.
No, DeWalt.
5,300 was a DeWalt. Basically, I think there, you're paying for the name,
Yeah.
and it's
No,
not real
DeWalt
worth it.
standards
They
are pretty
have a-
high.
But I don't consider.
But it's
is the one
repairability.
considered commercial? I thought that was more
The repairability on the
That's-
DeWalt is much,
weekend, well, more
Not
your,
top of the
look at
line,
that,
but
too.
yeah, that's
There is-
cool.
more weekend warrior type.
Now, the North Star brand is
Not at that,
through
that particular
Northern
product.
Tool.
They make industrial stuff.
Buying any of the repair parts you need through them. Or, they do have it set up, and they're pricey as far as having somebody come take it and do it, but we have a mechanic who's pretty good with things like that, so.
Well,
Most
except you're
anything.
gonna have a maintenance, you're gonna have some kind of warranty guarantee on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He won't be able to repair during the guarantee
During the
period.
guarantee period, no. So,
Johnny, this is an item you're looking to try to source out of this year's budget, though? Is that correct?
Yeah, it is, if we have money left for it.
Right, that's
So-
one of the items that I was referring to earlier.
I should include you two on the stuff I'm emailing them, so that way you're on it too.
That'd be helpful, yeah.
I can do that. So,
Can you explain your fourth bullet uses gas and diesel?
uses gas and diesel. The heaters use diesel, even on the electric motors for
No
the
kidding.
same thing, to heat the water, but you have to be near a source of power. The gas, in this case, will run the motor that does the pressure and sprays the hose, so therefore it's totally portable.
So how many different spray tips come with it?
It comes with 5 spray tips, from,
There's 4 or 5, yeah. 4 to 5, yeah.
From a very narrow stream.
Yeah, to a wide
wide.
band.
Okay.
So the wider, for instance, if we were hosing down a building that needed to be cleaned up, we'd use a wider spread so that there's less pressure to...
Do you have that left over in your budget?
We have $9,000 left so far in the, almost 9, in the sidewalk budget.
Sidewalk construction.
But then again, I know you guys wanted to do an RFP for that and possibly use it.
Won't be done before the end of the year.
Yeah, but if we got a contract, a signed
Yeah, I could do a
contract, it would be.
Tim was telling me a little bit about how we can do this today. So,
I think that's a good piece of equipment for them to have.
and it's great for, in the wintertime, those trucks are in salt all storm long, and a water hose doesn't really get into brake drums and,
It'll help with the maintenance of our equipment and the
Oh,
maintenance of our infrastructure, like you say, culverts and
yeah, it'd make the cleanup
lanes and...
a lot easier and quicker on, let's say, the backhoe, where right now you would have to basically get out with a putty knife or screwdriver and rags and go over everything. This, you'll chase it a little bit, but you can steam clean the most of it off. Or if you, I'd still recommend that we clean off the worst, but then this will finish it up. I think it's a really great piece of equipment for a highway department to have. The other thing that I emailed you guys was, this is something that I don't understand why a highway department in today's day and age would be without. I don't know how to, I'm not gonna have money left over for this. And that would be the brush chipper, wood chipper, brush chipper. The cheapest one I found was through MB for Bandit, which is a high-quality machine. I've used them before, they're very good. This one will cut up to a 12-inch log. We wouldn't get this unless we were to buy it tomorrow, but I can get that for $34,700. And the reason we wouldn't get this unless is they bought a bunch of them, the salesman explained it to me, in light knowing that they were going to a bigger motor, a Tier 4 motor, and this is the last one they have. So,
So that 34,000 is a deal?
it's a deal,
And what do they go for regular?
close to 40. I found 3 that were right at 40. I found one that said 29, but it's a brand I've never heard of. It's kind of new. There's one place in the state that sells them.
How often do you use a brush chipper?
We could use it very often.
Once a week?
No, we could use it weeks at a time, along with the fact that we rent for the brush at the transfer station.
Well, that was going to be my next thing. What does it cost you to rent one?
I believe it was around 800 and something dollars. 825.
Last rental we did, yeah.
Per day?
For the fourth.
We had it for 2 days.
2 days.
2-day rental.
No, 3. We had it for 3.
So
Yeah.
$300 a day to rent the chipper. And this chipping, I assume, that isn't getting done because we don't have a chipper.
There's chipping that isn't getting done, and every time, let's say a storm comes through, a microburst, for instance, our only option is to pick that up and throw it in the back of, generally a 550.
I was at the microburst and when they did that very thing.
makes cleanup very long, very difficult, and really quite expensive at the time.
Noyes Road, when they cleaned the ditch out this summer.
And
After
they could have
cut it
gone back a
all,
lot further on that.
they had to then haul all that brush back, where you could chip it right there on site.
Yeah, and they could have gone back a lot further. The reason they
Sure.
didn't was because they were lugging out what they did.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any room for,
Well, the way I had...
out of his budget?
Well, the way I had anticipated it was looking at taking 10,000 out of his operating budget, and then we're funding $35,000 this year into the highway equipment fund, and taking the balance required to purchase it, or $25,000 from that 35. So that's one way to do
Couldn't
it.
wait anymore.
And that's totally
I'm getting there.
contained within his budget.
The only problem with that is
It postpones.
postpones the next purchase of the,
But what's the difference in the wages right now? What do you have your,
I don't have, it's not significant.
but if you add that up with where you're gonna get the 10,000 from?
The 10,000, well, when I was looking at it earlier today and talking with Johnny, it seemed as though that sidewalk construction line, there was no way to use that this year, and that was the most obvious, and that was $8,800 that's available. And then it seemed pretty easy to find another $1,200 that hasn't been spent in his budget that, put a hold on. So that's 10,000 there. And then the balance coming, offsetting from the highway equipment fund. There is a possibility,
Wages?
well, I'm looking at through the end of the year, the majority of savings is in the police department.
Can we discuss whether or not this is a right decision to do before we decide to spend the
Well,
money? Because,
we
and we
can't-
just hit people with a 4% rate. We didn't do our sidewalks this year. We're doing $35,000 for something that we use twice a year, or we can store stuff. We haven't had one. How much did we spend last year total on the
We're not even gonna be
chipper?
able to discuss it if we can't get it out of the budget. It's a no-brainer.
Why should we get it out of the budget? I can't see spending $35,000 right now.
If he says that we can't even do it, there's not even can't even have a discussion on it, because we can't do it.
but the justification on it would be,
But we'll go around the back door, whatever.
Well, I think we have to, there's plenty of things we can get. We can just start looking where we can dig the money for, or we can decide, do we really need this right now? The money can be used for other things, or, go back towards...
How many times do you
tax.
want to move that branch before it's finally into chip form? And what's the labor involved? Don't even worry about the
Peter,
cost of
we
the
haven't
rental.
had one ever.
I know, and we
Yeah.
haven't done ditches for how many years?
10.
We finally started to do ditches, and the first one they did, I don't know, they took quite a few loads out of it, and
And it's taken days of labor. Days, weeks.
How long did it take you, when you cut these trees down, how much time did it take you to haul it away? How many loads?
I think it took, just for these 3 trees right here on Main Street, I believe it was 4 loads that we took to the highway department.
That
It's
costs
not a really
money.
great example. I mean, I can build a box that we can shoot it into, for example, like the leaf box. But here on Main Street, you really have to get the material out of here. But when you're in any of the areas where there's wooded areas and you're using that, common practice is just shoot it back into the woods. It's all biodegradable. As far as your roads and cutting and chipping, this should be done in all the intersections if there's any trees, so that people pull up and, you can see. And your roads they're not great, they're not bad, but they're not great, and they're gonna get worse if we don't get into a program to cut back the brush and trees. It's something that every town that I've ever dealt with does. Here in Tilton, we're kind of lucky in the fact that we have quite a good village area, so they don't have a lot of wooded areas. But you have outskirts beyond that they're just going to get worse. I mean, I can rent it I don't mind that, but then you're paying, if I rented it for 5 days, you're paying
$1,500.
$1,500. So, I mean, I can get by without it for another year. I'm saying it's not, but sooner or later, you're gonna have to either rent it more often or buy something, or, they won't go back by themselves.
Or we're good with what we got. Or we're good with it the way it is.
Well, except for where we've changed our practice now. We're now going after maintaining our ditches and all, which have been neglected for many years, so we've got to play some catch-up.
But how many, after you get them past the first year, how much of that stuff is going to have to be thrown through a $35,000 4-inch log cutting chipper?
You'll be using this machine for, if we were dedicated and took that machine out every day that we had a chance, because there are other areas we have to work on, you're looking at 3 to 4 year project of cleaning up the trees and chips.
Then you have to start again.
And then you have to start again, because about 5 years they're growing back up. It's an ongoing process, aside from the things like...
So they'd all be hand cut, or I know there was talk at once about using a boom cutter?
The boom cutter, that's a different scenario. You're talking about the roadside mowing?
Well, the brush, the boom cutter that cuts the trees and brush. Somebody, I think that was brought up before.
Yeah.
I guess...
The one
what
DOT had, I think, is what he's talking about.
Oh, like on the...
On the backhoe.
Yeah, they had one on their rubber-tired excavator.
Right.
That one's a rubber-tired excavator. It can produce a lot more hydraulic pressure than what our backhoe could. So we would have to rent a rubber-tired excavator to do that.
So if we rented the rubber tire excavator with that cutter, that shreds them up, we wouldn't need the...
But we'd have to see
Shredder,
how much
chipper?
that would cost, and then, I don't know how many of us, I've never, I'm sure I can figure out how to run it, but it would take some time, and the cost on that would be quite expensive.
I really don't like the scar those things leave. It really looks nasty. It's effective, Lord knows,
Oh, I
but,
don't like them either.
It leaves punji sticks everywhere, and that's,
but
what you
all
gotta
those
say.
sticks and it just looks nasty, like somebody came and ripped it all out.
it's what you're gonna face for a few years, like...
So it'd be hand cut?
Oh, look at the exit going down, south exit 19 going southbound. On the exit, you'll see that
Oh, I
they took
saw
one
that,
of those
yeah.
machines, and the trees are half down, they're not taken away or anything, the 3-inch, 4-inch, and they're just there, it's just hung there. It looks awful.
Yeah.
It looks awful. It looks like somebody had a hurricane right through there, and it's terrible. I don't like the way it's
John,
looking.
they'll use the chainsaw.
Yeah, because if they're small like that, you can do it with a roadside mowing, and it's pretty much the same process you're talking about.
All right, I think that we need to probably have a discussion on this. Obviously, it seems like the board is torn in which direction to go in.
Not me.
We will-
northeast.
I'm not torn, but
I'm not
if you
torn.
talk to other people, they are.
Through the process, I'll look up other options as well.
We can look through the budget and make a decision when we look through the budget next. I think it's next week we're looking at it, yep.
I did bring for all you guys the NRRA price list that you had asked for last week.
We're going to make a decision next week on the power washer as well?
You might as well do it all at once.
We got something that's broken, right?
What's that?
We got a broken power washer now, so we need that
What do you think?
going to the winter.
Next week,
Next week.
I'm done without it.
Oh, that's right, next week's
You can go a week.
big package.
Oh, there's an extra. Yeah, so these are the prices that we'll pay when we have NRRA pick up the tires.
So a 20-inch pickup tire is going to be $550?
Yeah, if you go, yeah, because this goes up to 19-inch.
Well, you got a lot of pickups these days that are running 20s, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's why I brought it in for so you guys can set the price. Now, if we don't want to put them into the dumpsters, then obviously this is the cheapest price we're going to get. And
NRA
So we
does
need
generally have
to,
the best
we
price.
need to collect service off of this, right?
yeah,
This is what they're charging us.
that's
Yeah.
what they're charging us. what we
This is
pay.
what it's going to cost us to dispose of them.
Plus, we have to put
Bicycle
in the labor
tires?
to take it.
Yeah.
Bicycle
You could put them in
About 20,
household
same as a
burnables,
passenger?
but it's not right to put them in household
Well,
burnables.
What do we charge now for these different ones?
we charge, yeah,
Passenger tires is what, $5 now?
$5, I think, for a regular passenger tire. And we don't take anything, I think it's up over an 18.
Got to be off the rim, too.
Got to be off the rim. Yep, these can be on the rim, because they'll take them off and resell the metal, but a lot
Yeah.
of times if we have a
So-
chance, we'll take them off, we have a machine, and we get to keep the metal.
How much handling do you think it's going to be for the increased, for you guys to have to deal with it, or space, or
Not
moving
much.
around?
We might help somebody take them out of their car, stack them, because the plan is, if we get rid of them every time we get 50 tires, there's no minimum charge for the truck to come pick it up.
And do you have to load the truck, or do they load
They
the
load
truck?
the truck.
So there's really no extra help
Yeah.
doing that either?
So it's very minimal. It's just we have to give them a spot to put it.
I
So-
think this is a great idea. Maybe this will help with some of those tires out on Pest House Road and
Yeah, because the lowest you can keep them, the better, the
Maybe.
more chance.
Are we limiting the amount people can bring?
Well, if they're paying,
No, if they're
I don't see
paying.
why you would.
No, you get to 50, they come tow them away. If I bring
Don't they got a
40,
sticker, right?
they have to come every other week.
And actually, if somebody came to me and said, I bought a new house and I found a couple hundred tires down in the gully, which I've seen happen before, I'll give them the number of the people that come, Bob's Discount. They'll go to their house and they'll pay this price instead of our $5 per tire. I wouldn't recommend that they bring them over to us just to keep the program going,
It's probably nice to have it a rounded number. You guys thinking like $2 for the first one, so he doesn't have to make change and have quarters? Or-
Yeah. Doesn't want to make
We went with
change.
$2, $6.
You're only making 50 cents.
$13, a buck.
You're going to have a lot of ones handy then.
Well, paper.
What it is. The cheaper we,
I would go at least 40 on the backhoe.
Yeah,
So with those, you don't.
Those are
that's going to
big.
be hard to
Yeah,
deal
you
with.
don't really see a lot of those because most of the time when you have one of those tires changed, it's,
They usually keep it, they're kind of big to be.
and moving those around
so
and whatever is a
The
thing.
board,
yeah.
the board said two for the little
Two.
ones?
I would say two.
Keep 'em
The
cheap,
cheaper
get
we
'em.
make it, the more likely they are to bring them in.
All right, and the other one is,
Next one up,
Isn't free cheaper?
Well, we have to pay.
7,
6, 7.
7?
6. I really want them to bring them here. We're not looking to make money on
Yeah,
this.
6.
But we have personnel that has to be there to help, too,
They're
you
going to
know.
be there anyway. Some of the places in this town that
What's he
have
do when he's not doing
tires,
mechanic work?
some of the places that have tires on road beside the
They're at
road,
the dump, when they're there at the station, with Amnesty Week, we have all of them
Yeah, I
there.
was there too. We were all
But
there.
amnesty would be free.
But on Saturday, there's one, sometimes, there's just one guy
Yeah,
there.
most anytime there's one
It's
guy.
limit-
during the-
Unless you got the
Depends
ladies
on
area
the-
open and
for
then there's
6
two.
months. This
Yeah.
would be a much smaller trickle, because they save them to bring them in for free. If I'd save the tires when I get them. If I knew I could get rid of it for $2, I'd just bring it down Saturday.
I got a stack, I'll bring down, I'll pay.
What, you
Soon as
missed
this goes on
amnesty?
board. Yeah,
Yeah, you're allowed to bring
And
8.
that's
I
the
had a flat
problem.
tire.
You,
Should have called.
what,
I made enough trips.
Yeah, you did.
I was only halfway
has
done.
Tim had a
two,
chance
six-
to look these over?
2,640.
Tim?
No,
Yeah.
no, actually, I haven't. No, in fact, I was thinking,
Yeah, I got an extra
well,
one.
I have a sheet here now, but I was thinking maybe the thing to do would be to come up with a recommended set of prices
Yeah.
and provide it.
That's, I was just gonna suggest,
Yeah.
what do you think, Catherine?
So how do they differentiate between passenger tires and
Tim.
passenger tires with dirt or debris?
This is fine.
All right,
I'd leave all the others
Come out of
alone.
the
I don't
mud.
know.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, well, I just-
Outside the road,
Oh, so
it's
like-
obvious.
I would leave all
Swamp
the other
tires.
stuff.
So yeah, the inner, not just on the tread, but inside.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
Just do what we did, and make the dirty
I was
passenger
thinking you were talking
3
about between a passenger and a truck.
and the dirty truck 9.
Well, the thing is, are they going to tell the difference between a 19 and a 20-inch truck tire? 'Cause I think it's more your
What did you
dump
say?
trucks, which
For
is
the second one?
definitely
Passenger
bigger.
tire,
Right.
the dirty passenger tire 3 and the dirty truck tire 9.
Yeah, well,
Those
they were
still are-
recommending 2 and 6.
That's for the ones that aren't
For the
dirty.
clean
Those are the
ones.
clean ones, Pat.
Clean ones,
Don't
2,600.
wash them, then they're more.
Up at the
30.
top.
You got to wash them, get the cheap price.
Bicycle tires, that's...
I just think that, I think...
Yeah, how much for bicycle tires? Don't forget those, you might get one.
Same price.
How about dirty bike tires?
Yeah, I know. and it's
You can
only-
bring dirty bike ones, they're free.
Use the hammer, for God's
I
sakes.
think that's fine.
Just bring the whole bike and we'll take it. I don't know.
6, leave them alone. 3 and 9, leave them alone.
The selectmen
There you go.
chose to make a choice, Tim. They're taking this over. Passenger tires, this consensus is 2, truck tires over 19, designed for highway use, 6, passenger tires with dirt or debris, 3, truck tires with dirt or debris, 9. All the rest stay the same, which I don't agree with, but,
Oh, I do like nobody's
and then
business.
we have this in the
I thought
form of
we
a
were-
motion.
So truck tires for off?
Backhoe tires should be
use, what
at least an extra $5 for us to have to
Truck
move
tires
those
for
around. 'Cause if
off-highway
we have to
use,
move them,
like
he's
quarry
gonna have to
truck.
use a loader for it.
Yes, I know.
So it should be an extra $5.
Craig, we use the loader for,
I know, but we use the loader for a lot of things, but we should at least get compensated for. So-
Seems like these people are already compensating, they're paying the taxes to get rid of this stuff.
All right.
They're paying the public
Can we have
works
this in the
guys
form
stuff.
of a motion? Oh, God, he's starting on chocolate. Let's go.
I'm
We're gonna move forward.
Yeah,
Come
we're
I
too
agree
late for
to the
that.
point.
People are tempted.
Motion.
I'd like to make a motion to begin charging the following prices for tires at the Public Works Garage. Rims on are okay. Passenger tires up to 19 inches would be $2 per tire. Truck tires over 19 inches would be $6 per tire. Passenger tires that you've dug out of the dirt and the mud and they're nasty would be $3 per tire. And truck tires that you found by the side of the road and they've been in the ditch and whatever, and they got water in them, those would be $9 per tire.
With tadpoles?
The
brought
ti-
the $9 one.
The charges for the backhoe tires would be $35. Loader tires, bias ply would be $80. Loader tires radial is $155. Snowmobile treads, $12.50.
You're not rounding.
Loader tires, bias ply with or without dirt or debris, bring it on, is $80. And loader tires radial with or without dirt or debris are $155, which these all reflect the prices the town is currently charged.
Loader tires are the
Bicycle
same
tires
price,
and tire tubes, no charge. Bring them on. That's my motion.
Bicycle tires with no charge?
That's
Oh,
right.
We're going to eat it on those?
We're gonna eat it on those. They're going right in the household.
and Joe-
You and I both know it.
How much are motorcycle
You were
tires?
$12.50 when you rounded all the other ones to round numbers.
That's discussion.
I'm a
A
rebel.
motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
Discussion, how much a
I'll
motorcycle?
Oh,
second. Second.
All right, now we can have discussion.
Motorcycle tires are,
I would count those as passenger tires.
Passenger tires up to 19-inch.
Yeah.
I have passengers on my motorcycle.
they're bigger than 19-inch, yeah.
I've never seen a regular motorcycle tire bigger than 19-inch. They probably have them, but that's covered under over 19-inch.
But now a truck tire.
They become a truck tire. I'm not looking to screw anybody. I don't want to make money at this. I want them to bring them and get rid of
That's
them.
obvious with that motion.
I would like to amend my motion, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, I would like to amend the cost of the snowmobile tread from $12.50 to $13 to make it even. Making change is not a good thing.
Tips welcome, Johnny. I don't have change today.
Okay, the motion, do you have all of the motion?
We have to vote on the amendment first.
Got it? All right, we're voting
I'll
on
second the
the,
amendment.
okay. All those in favor of the amendment to change the snowmobile tread from $12.50 to $13?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion passed. The amendment passed anyway.
How do
All
you
right.
pass an amendment if you haven't passed the motion, main
It's a
motion?
motion, it's amendment to the motion.
It's an amendment to the motion. Now we're voting on the motion.
With the amendment.
With the amendment.
Approved
Read
amendment.
that in its entirety. Sorry.
In the same
That's only
order.
kidding.
Want
All
some
right.
chocolate?
Tell him.
All those in favor of the motion
As amended.
as amended, which includes the snowmobile treads at $13, say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. Let the record show.
Well, at least I got something done tonight.
So be it.
She's an aye.
Usually I didn't vote.
You did, you said aye.
No, I didn't.
Sounded like an aye from down here.
What are you, voting present these days?
You're not voting? You declined to vote?
No. I still,
We don't know what she voted.
well, I just didn't think we should have one free. That's all.
So is that
So
no,
it's no?
Catherine?
Yes,
Isn't it?
yes.
I voted no.
Yes,
She
yes.
can vote no with me.
I'll vote no.
Hey,
She
Will
wants
you
to
make
vote
up your mind?
Well, I just don't, everything else we're charging, but all of a sudden people who ride bicycles or not.
and there's more bicycles than cars in Tilton. Hello?
You get a lot of
It's gonna cost
bicycle
us to get
tires
rid of
down
them?
there, do you, John? No.
I'm saving for Amnesty Week.
All right, on to easier things. I gave you our
Johnny,
weekly update.
it's 7:05.
I gave you our weekly update.
Yes.
And you sent along next week's schedule. I just added down below it, so that way I can move it around. I did put on here, which is not on yours, remove the awnings.
Yes.
We'll remove them next week, just, it's getting later and later, and
Someone did explain to you about the lighting on the railing going across the bridge? That it can't be going around the top?
yeah, we had to put them on with wire ties, if I remember somebody said.
So it has to go up,
Through the bars. It can't go over the rail, so you
Yeah.
can't do
So-
this.
Through the bars, then you wire tie them to the bar.
when people
Yeah.
walk along,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
the railing has to be
Even though we
cleared.
don't plow the bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
Northfield doesn't want us to do that, that
You know
way.
what? If they want to have a say, then maybe they should pay.
I was there.
Second,
Let's move on, please.
I was there for that one.
I agree with you, Catherine, but even so.
Thank you, Joe.
all right, that it?
Well, we just get the drainage easement.
The drainage easement. We need that. I looked at it. Are we okay with that, Catherine?
I don't know where it is.
Joyce gave it to me. so.
It's not my forte, so I looked it over. and
Anybody read it?
I did.
I did.
I read it. It looks standard.
It's only one, something
that I-
standard, so I can use it over and over.
I read it.
To be,
No, other than, well, I didn't,
You should ask if the board needs you anymore. I mean, after all, they've given away the money already.
the only thing we haven't discussed is the summer help thing, and we haven't went over that. Yeah, I was gonna go over it with them real quick,
Okay.
and they can decide if they wanna add any money to it or not. What do we have in that line?
18,600.
We start off with 18,600, and that includes all winter help. And we always usually have how much? This is an exceptional year because we had a lot of snow last January.
Oh, yeah,
February.
yeah.
So,
Right, and there were two winter.
See what Ms. Nine said,
yeah, and
just
normally
above
one.
normal temperature
That
fall.
was my only question.
The years with
What's
higher
that?
than
You
normal
guys told me
I'm trying to find
temperatures,
mine.
less than average snowfall. And to break the
On
streak,
property
to
to
break
be
the streak, you
restored,
had
I
to go
just want
back to
everybody's
like
opinion.
1966.
And it says,
I
upon
remember
completion of
that.
the project,
could have-
shall restore the easement, upon completion of the project, shall restore the easement area good. To me, that sounds like that they're only talking about the first project, the installation, but what about maintenance? You think that's enough to cover for maintenance too?
What did it say?
It says, property to be restored, the town of Tilton upon completion of the project shall restore the easement area in good and workmanlike manner to its original condition as nearly as possible, including but not limited to the restoration of lawns by sodding or seeding, complete restoration of any driveways, fences, or other authorized structures, see item 1, damaged by the town of Tilton during the course of installation, maintenance, and repair. Okay, I answered my own question. It's lovely.
Make a motion, we accept the
Should be okay.
easement, drainage easement. What is it, a drainage easement? I can't find mine, sorry. Oh, just drainage easement.
Shouldn't you have the address down there, which specific
No, this is
easement?
the new form.
Oh, the form, yeah,
Now, then he can apply it to the,
yeah.
So that, make a motion, we accept the drainage easement form as adapted, 2015.
Second.
All those in discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay.
Thank you, guys. I
Let the
appreciate-
record show it was unanimous.
It was,
I appreciate your help on it, it was great.
well, it wasn't somebody that didn't speak.
When we print them, can we put the date that it was
When,
originated?
effective date?
put the date on it, effective date.
I can do that right now. You mean the
Revision date?
Revised date.
Because it won't be affected until there's an issue.
Yeah, so this would be the revision
Right.
date.
Revised 11/12/2015.
It was born. 11.
One
Well,
on
if it was
date.
born, then it
Created.
wasn't revised.
No.
All right,
we have to have
let's move
something
on.
consistent. We're revised.
We're not going to
Pass this.
fool around with revised and revision. Come on.
Get moving. I'm
Last
waiting.
thing which Tim brought up, when we were talking about the two different things at the same time, was the possibility of winter maintenance. I reworked the winter maintenance, not all of it. Again, I did add to the definitions from last week. I completed that, and
Next week?
next week, I hope to bring in all the plow routes, just in case there's any adjustments. I haven't been here through the winter yet, so they're not burned into my brain, so I have to pick everybody else's, you know. Once you start going over them for hundreds of times, you kind of...
Yeah.
Can't forget them?
Just get in the truck, it knows which way to go.
Yeah, that's right.
All right?
So if there's any, I don't know if you guys had a chance to read over the definitions and stuff, it might help it. I put again the definitions so that it would explain what we're talking about when I'm here talking to you. For instance, when I say we sent our guys out to just blow open the road because it was snowing too hard, you know that I mean, I'm just staying in the center lane, no pointing, but then open the roads at the end of the storm means this, and so on and so forth. I think it'll help with communications with us and the public. And if there's anything else you guys need to ask or want to ask, and we put in there, that's fine too.
I have a hard time with travel portion within the shoulders of said roadway, because that's definitely not the travel portion.
Within the shoulders? What do you mean?
Well, it's not the travel portion of the road, it's the shoulders,
Within the
No.
shoulders.
or within the shoulders of said roadway. We don't travel on the shoulders.
No, between your shoulders.
Within, between them.
That's what he means.
That doesn't, see, that doesn't what it says to me.
Okay, that's what it said to
Shall
me.
mean any
but-
part of the roadway in which vehicles would travel or within the shoulders of said roadway.
Within the
Shoulder?
Maybe the
shoulders.
shoulder is
Well-
off the asphalt.
Oh, it is. It's off the asphalt. You got
Well,
the edge
depending.
So that's not a travel.
Inside the
portion.
shoulders.
Inside, within the shoulder.
From edge of road to edge of road.
Jesus.
I can change that.
You have some paved shoulders, don't you?
Not many. Route 3 does.
Right.
Yeah, because right at the edge of the road begins the shoulder, and then after the shoulder begins the ditch, is the way it's supposed to be. So,
Unless you're downtown, and then it begins the sidewalk that they park on.
putting that in there like that is more just a fallout of me, because I'm used to working with pavement and
You know what I think would work is a statement, and I don't think there is one in here, that interpretation of any of this language will be at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen or the Public Works Director.
Or its agent.
Yeah, Board of Selectmen or its agent. It's the Public Works Director.
Our agent.
But that just kind of covers it, so if anybody's confused,
all right, we'll put in the
we can
interpretation
unconfuse
clause.
them.
But you don't know what, between the shoulders.
Is my head. Yep.
Okay, moving right along,
All
now
right.
that our anatomy class is finished. Okay, what?
Last thing was the possibility of summer help this summer. We've been talking a lot about all the other things to do, such as chipping, cutting, chipping, and all that kind of stuff. It really can't, it would be hard pressed to take on any more as we're set up the way we are, in the fact that I lose at least 2 guys, a lot of times 3, mowing during the week. And it would be expensive to go with 2 summer help. I would love to, but I gotta be realistic, you know. If I had 1, I figured this is just a blanket wage, it's not saying that we would pay somebody that. But at $15 an hour for 40 hours a week is $600. And if we hired him for 16 weeks, that would be $9,600. Tim feels that we have enough money because previously in the past, with the exception of this year, we don't use all of our line for the winter maintenance people that are temporary or part-time. And Catherine found the part where the 132 field was mowed before the volunteering. And I think that added up to around $3,100. So if you just deducted that from the $9,600 that I came up with on the wages alone, that leaves you with $6,500. So if you were gonna pay for that field to be done, the volunteer that did it saved you an average of at least $3,100, because it would have gone up since then, as everything else did.
We had to buy a zero-turn mower, though.
You bought a zero-turn mower.
Well, that was because the volunteer wasn't certified to operate an X-Mark, even though he had operated a different X-Mark.
It is what it is.
But-
We still bought the mower.
But now we
Because the
have,
Board of Selectmen wouldn't authorize park commissioners to use a mower that was bought to mow the field.
And
So don't bring it
we,
up again.
I'm bringing it up
Oh,
right
my
now,
God.
this very second. We did buy a mower. That's all I
You
said.
bought 2
So that's
We bought
$15
one for
an
the
hour,
ball.
40 hours a week.
ball
yeah.
fields. It's in
So,
the minutes, read it.
We bought 2 for the ball.
and for
The
a
X-Mark?
total of,
On the,
how many
Hustler.
weeks you're thinking?
I've just said, I
Not
just
to
threw a
exceed-
number of 16 there.
Second one shouldn't have been purchased.
16 weeks?
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
Adjusted too.
That was the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
Indeed it was.
Well, I'll make the motion. Do we need a motion to do that? Or we just,
To do what?
It was.
no, we aren't
Wait,
doing
what are you
it
doing,
yet.
John?
No, we just,
We're talking about, put it in the budget.
Summer help?
Now, that's no benefits or anything, because it's part-time seasonal, right?
Yeah.
Have to
And
provide
not
with
to
uniform.
exceed the, what did you say, $15 an hour?
Yeah.
Well, if he's going to be a town employee, he needs a uniform.
Well, I wouldn't buy him the full.
No,
How many hours a week are you thinking about for this person? What'd
I
you say?
could use them 40, because they could
40
also be,
times
I could
16
certify, get them certified flagging, and if
Put 'em in
there's
the
any
ditch.
projects where I need an additional flagger on the road,
If you do them full mowing, then
But if
that'll
he-
free your guys up at least one of the 2 days.
it would free one of the guys. I figured 2 guys is plenty for mowing. I tried it
Has
before
Tim
in
figured out
Northfield.
what
I
that
said
is?
3. The third guy
$9,600.
kind of gets in the way.
Yep.
Does that include
But 2 guys
our
could do it,
portion of FICA?
and that would give me at
Or
least
is that
2
just
guys on
gross?
I think you
equipment
can-
and a
well,
ground
let's see,
guy.
16 times, weeks times 40.
is having that guy going to
times
save us any
15.
money anywhere else?
No, what it's going to do is free the highway department up to do other jobs other places.
To do stuff we should do, maintenance-wise.
Sidewalks, and
And
And it takes the volunteer
Guys go on
off the ball
vacation.
field, right?
takes the volunteer off the ball field, because I figured we got 2 zero turns.
so we get
They move right along.
You can have races.
15, 15.
I better not catch them, right?
3 years you did that, right?
More than that, I think. I've lost track.
At least 3. It could be 4 years he mowed that field.
Thank you for your service, Mr.
At least that,
Truly.
because that was 4 years.
Yep.
It's
That's-
5 years with Vicky Virgin, and it was 5 years ago that they bought the,
Yep.
so it has to be at least that.
So you
So
estimated
it's at least
save the
4
town
years,
12
maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's just the flat rate at $15 an hour, there's nothing else included in that, comes up
But
to
it depends on-
96.
Okay, so
we'd
we
have
should have Tim figure out what it'll cost us with
taxes.
Yeah,
Social Security, Medicaid.
Joyce and Tim figure it out. If we go $15 per hour, they have to add in FICA and all that.
And I'm not guaranteeing that I would pay somebody 15, it would depend on who put in for the job and what their qualifications were, or so on and so forth, you know. But 1 would definitely help, 2 would be better, but I'm not gonna be greedy.
What's the
Just as well.
consensus?
I can
I
see a
think-
value in it.
I can see the value in it, we got a lot of mowing here and there, and
Cleaning out
Cleaning
those
up.
ditches and any
guys
number
can
of
go on
different
vacation, we don't have to stop projects because we don't have enough guys, because one guy's, if that's the summer vacation time.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I would just like to see some sidewalks done.
Yeah.
things. Somewhat.
Sidewalks, we raise and appropriate money year after
Hey,
year.
when we get to sidewalks, I got plenty to say about
What I
that.
got for plans on the sidewalk is, I've been looking into it, I have to find a place to rent one of the self-propelled pavers. I can't take our crew here and do, well, I could, but I don't really want to, Main Street. But for anything outlying beyond the Main Street, where it's just sidewalk,
Long runs.
all we gotta do is rip it up and put it back.
No building abutments?
Yeah, I would be perfectly comfortable with that. And I can plan to utilize that money easy enough. And repairs, you know, some places only need repairs, and I don't want to redo what we don't need to do. But no, I will definitely use it this year.
How's that again?
I will definitely use it this year. Any and all money you give me for sidewalks.
Okay, all right.
If you want to double that, I'm all for
Nope,
it.
nope, nope. If you don't, we'll have another talk, but
It's a change.
it's okay. I'm glad. I keep complaining we put this money into sidewalks, and yet I see no sidewalks repaired.
Well, we got a new sheriff in town.
Okay.
All right, so consensus is,
still be the
you know,
honey.
look into it with Joyce and Tim on
And then come
What
back
it's-
with
The final
recommendations.
cost.
what's the final cost is going to be. So next week, we need those final costs, what it would be for 2. Okay,
For 2 or 1?
2, right?
I said
I
one.
just asked you for 2, and you said, yeah, I'm optimistically,
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
nobody's paying attention to me, I knew it.
Say it to me.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear the 2. You asked for 1.
It's the black
employee,
hole.
right?
I said 1, but
Anything this side of the crack.
Because the park commissioners will still have their person in the park who does other things around town.
I was optimistic that we were going
And
to get
then
more money.
the
for
Conservation Commission will have their person maintaining Salmon Run.
Yeah, because I was optimistic
No, so you can call
that
it
we were going to get more
Meadows.
money
All right, so one.
down there, but it didn't.
Consensus is one.
One.
And we'll-
I can see a value in
We'll
one.
think about
I
the
can see the
other.
value in two, but I'd rather have one, I think. See how it works.
At least one. All right.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
Is there anything else? Because I have a question.
For him?
Yeah.
All right.
What did we work out with the parks and the public works? What are you guys going to be doing?
Well,
And
I
what
was
are you guys not
hoping-
going to be doing?
I was hoping I would be able to take more, so I got more money to justify. But as it turns out, I really don't want to do Riverfront. That's like the premiere of our parks, and it's kind of
Right.
above us for that, for the maintenance. But,
132, you can be a few days late, and it doesn't really matter. You
Yeah.
don't want to do that at Riverfront.
so the only thing they're
A
giving
lot
us
more
is
extra
132
stuff down
And
at
Buffalo.
Riverfront,
in Buffalo.
too.
And most people
And it
don't
really
see
didn't add up to
132.
anything, because you had a volunteer at 132, and Buffalo was maybe $300 a year or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't even sure where we mow it.
Yeah, we might not even be doing that once I find out.
might
with
bring
the
that up, John.
Conservation, oh yeah, I'm going to bring up on, with the Conservation Commission
They
on.
probably want to do some brush trimming in the parking lot once a year, but
Yeah.
But we go up there and chip that up, too.
No,
Ever the optimist, I like that.
I was just saying.
That was very nice, John.
Smooth.
Very nice.
but it's conservation land, so you got to be careful what you're cutting there.
He's learning.
You caught me off guard there. What was I saying?
you're talking about the parks, what he's doing.
I know it's not, the park downtown, the Mill Park isn't something you can put off or anything, but if we have the extra guy,
The what part?
the downtown, the Mill
Best
Park.
Park.
Best pocket?
No,
Pocket.
no,
Riverfront?
Riverfront,
Huh.
Mill Park. It's like,
Dirt Pile Park?
Riverfront, if we have the extra guy, would that work into it, that we could do the Riverfront, where you got somebody that's good and they can,
He was just
attention
saying
to it.
that, yeah, he did.
It takes more
well, we
than,
couldn't before, but we're adding another
Look at all the
guy,
work we
and
could
how
have
long?
done at Town Hall. We could have things get painted and
it
all the
takes,
things that we want to get done.
That
we
ditch
haven't
work he
done.
was talking about.
there's typically 3 people in
That
Riverfront
ditch work
Park
he was talking about.
doing the mowing, the trimming, and then all 3 of them weed. There's a lot more to do in Riverfront Park. It's not just mowing. That was always the problem in the past with Public Works,
Oh.
because they're not
Not the attention to
landscapers.
detail.
They're not, they're mowers. They mow, they do great jobs mowing and trimming, but, when it comes down to the details, all the flower beds, when Public Works was doing it, we ended up losing 3 flower beds.
The mower?
No, they didn't, they never weeded them, they just became overgrown. And the landscaper we had before the one we have now didn't know they were there either. I happened to discover them when I was walking through with the new landscaper. I'm like, those look like there were coasters in there. And we peered in there, and there are these flower beds.
Okay.
So that's the kind of thing that happens when we
Gotcha.
don't have, professional landscapers doing Riverfront Park.
Plus it is like really, it's gorgeous park, and I'd hate to be responsible for losing any part of it.
Mowing over the gardens.
But
the
Public
beds are
Works does the
burning out.
maintenance on the infrastructure.
On the building,
They
on
did
the
a wonderful
pads,
job
on the-
fixing that
on the-
washout.
I get it, I get it.
docks.
All right.
Did
Let's
everybody
move on.
see the washout they repaired?
Yeah.
Yep.
What a
All
nice
set.
job.
Oh, thanks, I'll make sure the guys know.
Very nice job. They even cleaned up the stuff that gets in the grass.
And I talked to the state, they're actually gonna come and pave that catch basin up more,
Oh, thank you,
and we
good.
might, they're gonna ask their bosses about changing out the grate system. So,
A miracle has occurred.
well, that
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, but we got,
At least we're talking.
yeah.
Tim just texted me on this Google thing. The
Excellent.
library is 127,442.
There you go.
That, they just sent them a note. That's exactly what I said it was
Yep.
supposed to be.
Well, I get 236.
You're not going to quibble over the
Yeah.
few dollars?
So, all right,
They
that's
waive
it.
my late fees.
Thank you. Appreciate it. One subject that I want to bring up before we, anything, other earth-shattering things, is this, last week, I got a complaint on the parking. There was an event that took place, haircuts for men, veterans, and I support the veterans 155%, you know that. But they put cones out in front of the stores down on Main Street and told the business owners that the selectmen gave them permission to do that. I don't ever remember them blocking off the business. There's one business that opens at 6 a.m., Polly's. There's no other business that opens up until about 9:30 in that block. The block from the church down, there's nobody that opens up until 10 o'clock. So there's no reason why that event can't take place from haircuts for men all the way down to Northway Bank and have the same amount of space and not interfere with anybody whatsoever. But
They
to
also could have lined up in the parking lot.
lined up in the parking lot. There's a number of different ways they could have done this, but this is the second year in a row that I've gotten a complaint about it. This year, there were cones actually placed out in front and blocked customers from coming into the businesses. Being a holiday, people off, the place was packed, and therefore, a lot of people couldn't park in front to have breakfast, whatever. So,
How many of the people that were packing this place were motorcycle riders?
They weren't.
None?
they weren't.
Yeah.
There were very few people out there that were motorcycles. The turnout was lower than usual.
Well, that's because it was raining.
Right, right. But, so they blocked it off from 5 a.m. until leaving, and
Well,
it was-
we
it
should
was wrong.
research that because that shouldn't happen.
So I just want to bring
This
it,
is the second year, why don't we send them a note telling them that, tell them it is a great event, it is very nice what they do, however,
the event's gone on for 5 years, but just the last couple of years, we've had trouble with the parking.
Well, can't they get together, like down at Riverfront?
no.
No. Well,
They
that's
can
a
get
different
together.
event.
You
That's,
know, to gather the, why are they blocking it?
They wanted to use up all those parking spaces
So
to
that
line
the
up the
motorcycles-
motorcycles so they could take off.
so they can all take off at the same
But they could have used
time.
the Providian parking lot.
Yeah.
They could have talked to the selectmen and used parking lot maybe out back,
right.
off of Center Street, rather than taking parking away from the businesses. They could have even
I'm
used.
pretty sure they
public-
spoke with the chief about the
I
park.
spoke with the chief. and the
I
chief-
don't think he said anything about putting out cones and blocking off parking places.
Right.
They could
But
have
hey,
used,
that's public
the old
parking.
post
If
office.
motorcycles show up at 7 a.m. and they park there, they park there.
They're absolutely correct.
That's first come, first
That's
served.
first come, first
Absolutely.
served.
Cones,
off,
no cones.
You don't
No.
block it off specifically
No.
for vehicles to park there.
No.
That's the problem I have.
We don't have a policy or a ordinance on the parking that includes if you wish to, if you're doing construction, you need to put a dumpster in there, or you're going to take over parking spaces, remove them from the public use.
Usually, the business owners will come to us and tell us that this is what we're doing, and make provisions for that, and we'll say, if there's a way that they can do it out back, with the dumpsters, depending on what block it is, because the next block has a vantage point from out back by the fire.
I think we can tweak this and get it
I think
straightened
so,
out.
too.
I think we
Just
should
wanted to
send them a
let you all
friendly,
know.
oh, by the way.
Yeah,
It would be
for-
nice to
For
have,
future events, if you need to,
Joyce, you think you can do that?
to us in writing, and
yeah,
we
just
should...
a
there are
friendly
other areas
kinda-
that they could use.
Note that we could just say friendly, this is, oh, by the way.
That way they've been told.
But if somebody's going to be blocking off a good number of spaces, whether it be for, putting a dumpster because they're raising,
Right.
renovating or something.
I do check
They
with the
should get
chief,
a-
and the chief,
They should get
How about
permission.
auctions?
Well, the auctions is the same way. I mean, he blocks in front of his place
He does?
Yeah.
Monday evening.
Yeah.
On a Monday evening, I've seen it. I haven't seen it lately, though.
Then we need to send him one, too.
I don't,
This is just for loading and unloading.
It still doesn't give him exclusive use of those public parking spaces.
it's a
Only
specific,
if you're the inn.
If we're saying this one,
Has a loading,
Can't do it.
private loading and unloading.
Lawrence has to put a cone out when his trucks come. He puts a little cone.
Well, maybe we should discuss this.
I've never seen Billy
Billy
put
puts a cone out. Billy,
His truck.
Yeah,
when
the
it's his
pickup-
truck, so that he could get in the front to unload it, and then he goes out, puts his truck out back again.
No, but he waits until the space is clear.
Right.
So the cone's only there until he goes and gets in his truck.
Right.
Well, that's different. But, putting a cone out and reserving a space for exclusive use for a significant amount of time is a lot different.
Yeah, no more than just delivery, active delivery type.
Active loading and unloading only.
I have no idea when
Occupied.
the auction is. It's like,
So we
what,
might
7
have to
o'clock at night or something?
Find that.
Yeah, something like that.
I think you're right.
On active duty.
All right.
Unloading.
So, just want to let you folks know about that. We also have an email that I'm getting in touch with, we all got the email on the taxes. That I have an email back from the person, I didn't have a telephone number, so I'm going to talk with her tomorrow.
I talked to
You did? Okay, good. No, I don't have to talk to her then. We're going to go non-public anyway, you can update us. That's it.
Take care, John.
We have anything that needs to be said in the public?
Question.
That's not you, John.
No, not you, Johnny, the television set repair.
See you in the morning.
What in hell is television set repair for $35? What television?
Where is it from?
Police department.
Oh, yeah, well, they use the television downstairs for training and stuff, for internet and whatever,
We have a TV.
downstairs in the training, in the lunchroom.
Okay.
Big
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that how we interviewed that fellow from out west?
We had an
Yeah.
interview,
I always thought of that as
I
a
don't know. We
monitor, not
didn't
a
interview
TV,
him.
but it is a TV.
we interviewed the oil boards.
We
A
didn't.
People have jobs.
guy from Phoenix.
Hey, did you interview over the TV?
We,
did.
Board of Selectmen. No, I guess it was it is a TV, but I think
Oh, yeah.
it's a monitor.
I know.
I don't think
So
they watch
did
the
everyone
TV.
get did everyone get their letter, their email from the
Next one.
person that wants to complain about MetroCast being a monopoly?
Yes.
Yeah, I found it interesting. I
think we should join in.
I didn't realize that MetroCast was the exclusive
They are.
cable TV provider.
But
Because they
isn't
buy the
that how
rights on the
cable
pole.
TV
Works.
works? You got the companies buy the rights to
To the
different
pole,
towns.
right.
They have to, it doesn't work like that. What they do is you have to have a spot on the pole. So they buy the spot on the pole. The poles only hold so many, and by law, you have to have so much in between the wires. So the wires that we have, at least around this area, there's no more room for other companies to begin with. Number two, the cost of string wires all over town is like horrific. And at this point, TV watching, MetroCast, right? TV watching is going down. The people are using Netflix and Hulu. They're not watching TV as much. MetroCast has fallen right off the edge. But unless MetroCast sells their space on the pole, Comcast won't even
do
think
that.
about it. It's not a monopoly, except for realistically,
Well,
that's the only way it works.
The only show in town.
yeah, but if they could sell somebody else's
Comcast can't come in.
Right,
But it is a monopoly, because
It is a monopoly.
if you want to get,
but it's a legal one.
if you want to get the internet, who do you get it from?
Dish?
Dish or,
You can't
what's the
transmit
other one?
out over the
Direct?
dish. You can only get it in on the, dish.
And that's not the way I
You have
understand
to
it.
have an outgoing line, yeah. The dishes aren't two-way for the internet.
You have to have a telephone line to have them.
They're only receivers. You have to have a telephone line to send it out,
Those are already on the pole.
but they're
You
DSL.
need taller poles.
Which is slow.
It's, yeah, you can't get any high speed, so you can't get
20
any-
years ago, the government forced the telephone company into divestiture because they said they were a monopoly. But
Yep.
cable companies, no, they're not a
They
monopoly.
need taller poles.
Yeah, and the service that we get, oh, don't
Well,
let
it's
me,
the only game in town, like you said.
yeah, it sure is the only game in town.
The only
I would
thing
love to
that's
see
Game being the
competition, there just
operative
isn't
word.
any. If you want a good viable alternative to MetroCast for TV, go to Dish.
Or
Go to
DirecTV.
DirecTV. I've been getting
You
Dish
just
for
can't get for
years.
internet, though.
It's better, you could get it, well, internet,
Get dial-up.
Yeah.
internet,
point.
Fairpoint is getting ready to put in fiber on those poles.
No, they've been saying that for,
Well, that-
the day they came in, I've been asking
It's
them.
a matter of
Somebody said you could
economics,
get
because they
internet.
gotta run new wires.
Dish.
It's the running the wires.
Fairpoint said 15 years ago that they were going to put it in Tilton.
If you had
Well,
satellite.
They have in some places, apparently.
But you can only
Not in my
receive
neighborhood, but-
dishes that don't
That
have
won't happen.
transmitters.
How's your dish price
can't
compared to
transmit up to a
MetroCast?
Much better, and it's more reliable.
You'd be-
I don't have any equipment issues. They gave me the
Yeah, they
DVR
don't,
for
they
free.
can't broadcast. Yeah.
It's
You can
more
only
channels for less
receive, You
money.
can download files, you can get
And I'm the guy who negotiated the franchise agreement with MetroCast.
email with.
So you're the one we gotta blame.
So
Actually,
one's going one way,
we saved lots
and
of
you're
money,
slow
but you
going out.
can't
Coming
impact the
in.
fees
You
they
just hurt my
charge.
brain.
They go up 10% every year.
No, it's tricky.
We have no authority, only the
Well, we
federal
could
government.
petition them,
You know,
And
if
say-
everybody in town
yes.
canceled their MetroCast for a month,
In their internet.
I can't live without scandal, I'm sorry.
there'd be a statement.
I could get that on Netflix.
You can
Yeah,
get
that's
that
all
on
right.
Netflix.
Yeah, I can, that's right.
Yeah, so then you got your out.
But where do you get your Netflix, your internet through?
Roku.
Metrocast, I get my phone from
So what are you
Metrocast.
gonna do?
And they-
You don't watch the TV? You'll be watching the internet over their
No, you
wires.
could get it through any internet provider.
Yeah, you could
Just
They have the
any internet
satellite.
provider.
Okay,
Whose wires does it come in on?
receive it.
No, the
Metrocast,
other satellite provider internet.
the internet comes on the
Yeah,
Metrocast cable.
Exactly.
The phone,
Any internet provider, there's only one.
right.
Two, Fairpoint provides internet.
Fairpoint comes in,
That's right.
right.
So you have a choice.
Like that.
There's a third choice.
All right, we have three
No internet.
non-publics. I make a motion, go into
Pursue it.
non-public as per RSA 91A:3. We have two personnel in for the non-public and an attorney-client.
The partridge in a pear
My
tree.
second, did you get a second?
You just did.
You just did. Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Try and change the board's opinion.
He wants to change the board's opinion.
45, I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to personnel, public safety, and issues that might cause embarrassment to a resident if brought to the public light, to be sealed forever.
Who are you talking to?
I'm just talking, trying to
Talking to the
remember.
curtain.
Come on now, somebody second it.
I did, second.
All right,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
That was pretty funny.
Motion to get out of here.
Second?
Yes.
Aye.
In favor?
I'll get it right back to you.
The great and all-knowing Oz is behind the curtain.
Just leave it
He
on
was
the,
talking to him.
maybe the hook downstairs, and then if, then I can pick it up. Okay.